Alright, should be live now. Hello there, everyone that's coming in. Welcome to our lovely Casa Games live stream. Felt like today was a really important day to get this one scheduled, because today, at about, I believe, 8 p.m. in my time zone, I don't know what time zone you were in, the Age of Mythology Retold game will be releasing its early access. Yeah, for those that wanted to shell out the extra 20 or so US dollars, I think it's still on sale. I believe if you get the whole package, it was $42.99 instead of $49.99, so it's probably actually even less than $20, right? It's a pretty cheap price, yeah. You'll be able to play it today, Otherwise, if you want to get the smaller package, you have to wait all the way till September 4th. Yeah, kind of unfortunate, But not everybody can afford the bigger package, so that's why they offered multiple options, right? The weenie package is cheaper, the bigger package is bigger, more expensive, right? Not only will you get early access, but you will also get the first two expansions of Age of Mythology Retold. Looks like expansion number 1 is probably going to be very centered around East Asia. The Chinese have been confirmed, and the speculation on the Japanese has also been up in the air as well. So that should definitely be pretty interesting. Before we get started, though, I need to share the link with everybody, so give me a few moments to do that. And as we speak, HVNI is providing us with plenty of good game recordings to cast for you. So I'm just going to start from bottom to top. I usually do bottom to top when I'm inviting different Discord servers to join our stream, so I'll do that. Just say I'm alive, or in vivo, if you're a Juanito server. And everybody knows, hey, the stream is live, and I'm ready to start casting lots and lots of good games. Yeah. Why it's really important today that we're streaming is because, well, if you are in the Atlantic time zone, right, New York City, Boston, you got a whole 3 hours to wait before the early access even comes to you. So I figured, people are going to be bored, they're going to be tired, they're going to be frustrated because they have to wait another 3 hours. I mean, of course you could eat dinner in between that time, but wouldn't it be better to watch some stuff, while you're eating? Maybe watch some Casa Games in AOE 3DE. AOE 3DE is probably the closest game engine-wise we got to Age of Mythology Retold, so why not start there? You know what I mean? And it's not like we do it every week on this day, so it just works out for us this week, I guess. That's why I really wanted to get to you. Definitely. So the plan is, I think we're probably going to keep the stream going to about 3 hours, starting about 9 minutes ago, and we'll go all the way to like 8 p.m. if we can. Obviously, if anything comes up for me, if I have to leave early, go do some stuff, I will do that, but maximum size of the stream should definitely be 3 hours. That way, once the early access for Retold comes out, you will be able to go there and have fun doing that, pretty much. That would be really good, you know what I mean? Everyone getting a nice chance to start Retold right when it comes out. And by the way, for those that don't know, you can actually pre-download the game now if you go into your Steam library. Yeah, you can already get all those gigabytes of files now, so you can start playing right at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or whatever conversion to your time zone that is. So I recommend all of you basically go get that set up like right now, if possible, while you're watching the stream, so you don't miss out on any time, and you don't feel like you're behind everybody else when it starts, right? So yeah, definitely go get that pre-downloaded while you're watching the stream, and then you'll be able to have fun playing the new improved major gods there, right? As well as that really special, totally new major god, Freyr. Yeah, that's probably going to be my first priority when playing this Age of Mythology Retold release, is doing Freyr. Assuming he's there, of course. I think he's going to be there. It's part of the new Gods pack, right? Yeah. I purchased the premium version myself as I was allowed in the beta when that was going. So yeah, definitely will be enjoying using Freyr. Sounds like a really economic and defensive type Norse god, which is kind of rare for the Norse, right? The Norse are normally very aggro-friendly, and I'm hoping somewhere along the line there is going to be some support for Freyr to have that offensive capability, pretty much. Yeah, that would be really good. And let me see, check this one. I'm going to let them know I'm live. We casted 3 games. While we wait for Retold. It's sort of the point of the stream, on top of our usual schedule. Any other servers I have to check? That one, I believe, likes to come to that one. Any other ones? I think there's about 5 more servers I'd like to send a thingy to. Alright, nope, not that one, this one. Yeah. I always like to make sure I'm sending the right stuff to the right place, because if you send the wrong link to the wrong channel and stuff, that can anger a lot of people. They're like, oh, don't advertise here, we gave you a channel for that. Stop spamming, you know what I mean? So you gotta make sure you always put it in the right place. Yep, and how many more? There's 3 more servers to send the linky to. Should be good. Do that one. Do this one. And that last one up there. It would be this place. Yeah. This one. Alright. Got all the servers done. And how much minutes are we in? We're at about minute almost 8. So yeah, all I have to do now is just download all those games that HVNI has provided us courteously in our time of need. Yeah, I feel like in a way it's better that we do all of the HVNI games as part of a live stream, so they're all done around the same time. And that way you can just go through the whole package in one video and you don't have to, click through a bunch of links basically. So yeah, I know I put this stuff as part of a playlist, so you can access it that way as well. But isn't it nice that you can just rewind through hours of unadulterated Shalom there, HVNI, the master of Definitive Edition 3, and the proud provider of all our casted games today. And I actually gotta check right now how big that list actually is today. Right now we have about 5 recordings to look at. We got Revnak, we got Deathmatch, we got GE, what's that, Age 4, Industrial Age. Ow, I really hate Petard's Portuguese versus HVNI. Is that like the name of the player, or is that just a comment? Because I know how painful the Petards actually are. They're very obnoxious if you don't know how to deal with them. And I know some players in Wars of Liberty for sure that made Petards a real pain for me over the years. So whenever I see HVNI use these powerful weapons, I totally can sympathize with them on how annoying they are. Because I like to play really defensive, and one way people used to really get into my defenses is just come on like 5 sides of the map with Petards and just blow through walls, hit factories, hit forts, hit ultimate buildings, any critical target I had, which was pretty obnoxious to deal with, honestly, for sure. So yeah, you definitely need to make sure when you're dealing with Petards you have some good defenses against those things. In particular, I find, towers are certainly a good start, but obviously if your base is very large, you can only have so many towers, right? It's not like Age of Empires 2, where you're only limited by the amount of stone that you got, right? That's why when you see me doing those Definitive Edition 2 games with Zeus and stuff, he has all these towers all over the place and castles, and it's like an impenetrable fortress. You know, you can put castles here and there, you can put towers in, bombard towers. You have unlimited freedom in AoE 2. In AoE 3, you know, they don't give you that much defensive freedom, and you sort of have to pick and choose where your towers go. Pretty much. Yeah. Do I have all the downloadings? Yep, all 5 of them. Is that right? Yep, all 5 of them. And I think we might have some from last week. If we get any more from HVNI, that would be really good. But I'll just work with these ones for right now. It should be a fun thing for you all to do before Age of Mythology Retold comes out in about less than 3 hours from wherever you are in the globe right now. For me, it would be 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. For you, it might be something different. And actually, in my announcement for the stream today, I included that big giant map that was provided by the World's Edge team, showing all the places on the globe and what time that early access will actually begin for you, relatively. DM Ottoman versus Germany doesn't work. Thanks for letting me know, so we don't have to witness an out of sync there. It's always good when you have a warning about that. Yeah, that's always a good thing to know ahead of time, is when a game won't actually work. Yeah. So, what time is it now? It's about 11 minutes in, and we have to do some castings. Yeah, so I'm going to pick my portrait here. What do you think? Ostrich, hyena, mahout? I think the elephant. This is one of my favorite units in the game, so I think this is the one we're going to go with. How many of you have gotten all the possible portraits in the game so far? For me, I still have a ways to go before I get them all. Of course, I will never change out the unstoppable Steletsy in this portrait here. This will always be the one that I use. That being said, we can go through the set of recordings. We can use the time sorter. Press here, sort it by time. And now we got a game here called Revnak, because it includes one of the most OP players in AoE 3, Revnak, in it. I don't know if it's going to be a 1v1, team, deathmatch. It's going to be pretty good. You can tell right away if it's Revnak, it's going to be excellent. How else would he be teaching the academy at House of the Train Post if he wasn't a demigod, right? Yeah, pretty much. So, is this HVNI, this Arabic title here? Looks like the enemy will be Chef Sadiste. Chef Sadiste, that's a name I fondly remember from the Helter Skelter tournament that happened this year. I can't recall, did Chef Sadiste's team even do any games for that tournament? I know we had a lot of issues with teams not organizing and stuff. I can't recall if Chef Sadiste did any games. I know he couldn't play any games for a long time because he injured his leg somehow, right? Yeah. His foot or his leg. But as Niceus pointed out, you really don't need your leg and your foot to play Age of Empires 3, so he really didn't understand the whole I can't organize games because my leg's broken. Well, just play with your arms, because you normally play with your arms, right? Sit in a chair. Don't walk on your... Don't play the tournament standing up, and there you go. Yeah. But anyways, let's check out the mappy real quick and see what's going to happen here. Now, this is a pretty interesting map. This is one of those European maps that came out with the Knights of the Mediterranean DLC. And what makes it pretty signature is you got these very giant towers called city towers right on this mountain pass here. And basically what they are is they are bombard towers, designed after the bombard towers in AoE 2. And what you do with these is you see these treasure guardians here? If you can take them all out, you can actually capture these city towers for yourself. And the more of these you capture, obviously, on these mountain passes, the more efficient your defense is going to be, pretty much. If possible, you can actually capture these from your opponent as well. So if player 1, Chef Sidiste, grabs the city tower. Revnak can also capture this tower as well afterwards. So yeah, it's pretty interesting actually how this map works. Other than that though, everybody gets 2 native sites as well as 2 trading posts on a trade route. So everybody gets a little bit of something. Yeah. I'm just checking them. I missed Mexico DLC and USA DLC, yes. Good. Alright. Well, let's begin. Let's begin this one. So, we're going to be seeing British down here. British are a pretty solid civ. I would say they're certainly pretty strong in 1v1. I think the biggest advantage you get is the British in 1v1 is the fact that you get that really good manor boom, right? The more manor houses that you build, the more free villagers you get. So, best thing you can do is just build as many of those manor houses as possible, pretty much. And you'll boom up very quickly indeed. However, the opponent here is actually the Portuguese over here, right? And essentially what makes the Portuguese a really nasty opponent for the British to deal with is the fact that they also can provide their own sort of boom as well, right? The difference is the boom for the British is done through constructing houses. The Portuguese simply provide you a covered wagon with each age up. So not only do you have that boom aspect with the Portuguese, but also a defensive aspect as well. Yeah, pretty much it's going to be a war of the villagers, pretty much, and who gets the most of them the quickest, right? On top of that, Portuguese get this really good Age 1 card to start the game out with called Vitórias. And just like those infamous buildings from Age of Empires 2 Portuguese, Vitórias will allow your town centers to actually trickle each of the resources, pretty much. They'll be able to trickle some food, some wood, and some coin. Right? So as you progress through the game and get more of those free covered wagon town centers, those town centers on top of being really good defensive strongholds and the production site of more villages, are also going to trickle some of the resources on their own as well. As we can see here, it's about 0.4 of the food, about 0.24 of the wood, and about 0.24 of the coin. So, mostly food, but also a bit of wood and coin as well. And eventually it does add up, as you can get quite a few town centers as the Portuguese, right? In a normal game, you could obviously get up to 5 town centers, but there are cards in the Portuguese home city that deliver additional covered wagons that also increase the build limit of your TCs even further. So this alone could be a really good income source for you, even without the villagers helping you out. Let's see what the Portuguese deck looks like here. So, in terms of Portuguese deck, this looks pretty standard, I would say. The one thing you'll notice about Portuguese decks is, since they almost always go Fast Fortress, you rarely ever see a lot of unit cards in Age 2. And another big point is, since you get so much booming out multiple town centers is the Portuguese, you don't have any villager cards, really. You really don't. Most of the units you're going to see in a Portuguese deck are either in Age 3 or in Age 4, pretty much. Some Dragoons, some Cazadors, as well as the Organ Guns. Organ Guns in DE actually cost some coin, the shipment does, but in Legacy, as you know, that wouldn't cost any coin. But in Legacy, isn't it only 2 Organ Guns, whereas here you get about 3 of them? Yeah, so it's a bit of a difference, but same concept. Whereas the British are using Greenwich time. Cool. They're using the Greenwich time card, pretty much. So what that means is that Revnak has sent the Greenwich time card first. It gives you a trading post wagon that you can build a TP with right away. And each of your trading posts will improve politician and tech research time by 20%. So the more trading posts you have on the map, the quicker your techs, even the age-ups, will research for you. It's a bit of a deviation from the normal path of going with 3 settlers, But I can imagine in the end it allows you to reach your age ups a bit quicker, it allows you to research more essential texts a bit faster, that sort of thing. And you don't necessarily have to worry about getting these 3 settlers at the start of the game, because you're going to be building your villager numbers up so quickly later on with the manors, so you do have a bit of flexibility there. We see that Revnak has brought in 700 coin, as well as the 700. This is the 700 wood right here. This means that British could potentially be going FF themselves, which I think would make a lot of sense, since that's exactly what the Portuguese are going to be doing, right? And you as the British have your own special little trick through the manor boom to actually keep up in vills as much as they are, making the Portuguese and the British sort of on even footing in terms of economic potential, right? At least when done right. So, yeah, it looks like it. See that? The 1.2k food going to be aging up with the Mohawk Statesman, giving you some good native warriors. This age up's going to be slightly faster than normal because of Greenwich time and the 2 trading posts that are on the map currently. So technically this research time should be cut down by 40%, right? 20% plus 20% would be 40%. So this age up's going to be pretty fast compared to what it normally is. Also picking up the stagecoach, because this trade route is pretty safe. You really shouldn't be losing that too much. So really, getting stagecoach on a trade route that's so close to you is a no-brainer, really. Yeah, I like how Revnak has captured the center city tower here with a outpost. This is going to be really hard to deal with for the Portuguese if they decide to take a direct route of attack here. Not only are you going to have to deal with this outpost shooting at you, but you're going to have to deal with this really large city tower as well, providing double the cover fire that normally an outpost alone couldn't provide. Yeah, and it's also pretty infamous against Pierce armor as well, I can imagine, because it's sort of that concept with the Chukonu in AoE 2 doing a lot of damage to things with high Pierce armor, because they're firing so many bullets at the same target that one ping of damage gradually grows into something more serious. Yeah, pretty much. On a smaller scale, of course. So, what do the British have here? They have about 7 hot tomahawks here. These ones have a range multiplier against cav as well, making them pretty powerful. And definitely strong enough to rip apart any dragoons that the Portuguese happen to make. Where are the Portuguese? So they're about ready to get their second covered wagon here and their 3rd TC. Where did TC number 2 go? It went, let me see here. 1 and 2, so keeping them pretty close to each other, at least over here. This one is going to be going all the way over here. That's the cool thing about the Portuguese. You got options. You can group the TCs up together to build a really formidable defense, or you can split them up and take over larger swaths of the map. Which on this one, I think, since it's a little bit more closed, why not? Why not? It's probably going to help you out really good here. We see Portugal deciding to go stable and dragoons to deal with these falconets coming out from the British. British do possess that really powerful 2 falconet shipment in Age 3. And basically what's going to happen here is, looks like Portugal's going to look for an opening here to go after these cannons with, pretty much. Oh wow, Revnak sent the royal decree as well to get the Black Watch from the church. This is pretty big. Look at the stats on these Black Watch. 400 HP, 63 range attack. Yeah, these Highlanders are pretty infamous, I would say. And doesn't the tech in the 5th edition also unlock them at your tavern as well? Yeah, I thought it did. If that's the case, this is something that Revnak could technically use for the rest of the game, potentially. Yeah. If not, it's still a good shipment overall from the church. Going after the trading post first. Pretty easy target. Let's see if these dragoons can get a good snipe on these falcons here. Both the tomahawks and the Highlanders are going to be a threat to those Dragoons. Only one Highlander going into melee with the Dragoons, though, so a bit weak on that side. Falk is doing some good damage overall, but not wiping out all the Cazadors. Let's see if these Tomahawks can, yeah, he's probably going to withdraw with the Dragoons. There's really no reason to keep using them, especially when the Cazadors have more Pierce Armor, and they're dealing more multipliers against both of these heavy infantry units. Yeah, I think these Cazadors will kite their way to victory here. But it's totally possible they could take some damage as well along the way. The one thing that the Tomahawks are pretty scary against these Cazadors with is their hack attack and their range, you know. The Highlanders deal pierce damage, so the Cazadors have a really solid 47% pierce armor against them, whereas the Tomahawks will just do straight up 16 damage because it's a hack attack. Only the HOD native side ones that you get with the British, right? The Tomahawks you get with the HOD Civ itself in DE deals pierce damage because it's like a wood-costing musketeer, right? So, yeah, they don't get that same luxury. Building a manor house by the outposts here to have a villager in this range over here with the city tower. Looks like Revnak's gonna elect to build a forward base around this area. And I think, honestly, that would be a pretty good choice here. You know, it's right dead center in the map. It says strat is broken. What? What strat is broken? Portuguese? Portuguese are broken? Aging now. Yes. Yeah, I didn't do that. XD. Yeah. So, he's planning something. Going Industrial Age. And he's going to be bringing along the Magyar Hussars and the Prostegma Musketeers from the House of Fanar and the House of the Habsburgs. Oh, this could be pretty scary. Yeah. 2 big buns giving you free units and a British FI. What will they be FIing into? Rockets? Gentlemen of the Pike? That does sound pretty scary. And then they got 20 longbows as well. Yeah, even without Yeoman or the Siege Archery, that's pretty scary with the rockets supporting them. Yeah, I think this could be a real problem here. Portuguese trying to take the initiative here and go for the push. So what's going to happen? Is he just going to try to blow up that city tower? Oh, nah, you don't have to blow up that city tower, you just capture it. Just capture it, man. Don't just get rid of that manor house and you can capture it. Yep. Should be captured now, right? Yep, perfect. Yeah, you don't want to damage that if you can, you know. If you know it's going to be a constant, obnoxious problem for you, if you're going to keep battling this on this hill here, yeah, you might want to destroy it, but normally just try to capture the thing and it'll end up helping you out in this area when you're fighting. Putting a fort here is really dangerous because now you got a fort that's within a certain radius of 2 city towers that are going to be owned by the Portuguese now. And it looks like they're actually going to move out and try to take this city tower as well, or they're going to go for a push. So it looks like they're going to go for a raid on this mine here. Dragoons, a really quick unit that can keep up with the raid. Actually switching into the melee attack. The good thing about the Dragoon's melee attack is it does not suffer from any sort of malice against the villager tag, so it ends up doing full damage, right? The idea of having a malice on light cav is to basically prevent it from turning into Age of Empires 2 Mongols and Huns, right? With those cav archer rushes, it just completely destroys entire bases. Yeah, for Age of Empires 2 world, it's pretty fine, and people are pretty used to it, but for AoE 3 world, you know, it's a little bit more fair. Somebody can't just run around with a bunch of speedy horses and kite down your entire economy. It's just not allowed. You know, should it be allowed? Well, it's allowed in Wars of Liberty with those Brazilian natives. The slave hunters, Captain Demados, can do that. But I don't think many other light cab, except for the Mehereste camels of Egypt, can do that, really. Alright, so Gentlemen of the Pike with rockets. This is already looking pretty serious. And then turns the longbows into rangers through the royal decree. Yeah, this is a real problem. You got fully powered skirmishers, you got guard pikemen, and you got rockets. three very competent units here working together to take over this entire situation. British now capturing the city tower over here and shipping in the veteran rangers right to that site. Oh, this is not looking good. As the rockets what's the range on the rockets compared to the fort? So the fort, so basically the problem with the rockets, it looks like, is basically, oh, they actually have 2 range, so he just has to readjust these. Yeah, you don't want the fort sniping these rockets, you know, you want these rockets to be having a free snipe at this fort. You don't want to be taking a return fire from it, so a little readjustment is done with that. Set. Chef Sadiste is going to have to defend in his base now, grouping up with a bunch of dragoons. Probably going to get the, again, the cavalry cockerel. Going to get Order of Avis. This is that really obnoxious card to the Portuguese that gives the dragoons +4 range, bringing their range up to 18. So just under that of a skirmisher. You know, a skirmisher has 20 range, this will have 18 range. So it actually outranges crossbowmen. So that's pretty significant, actually. Is he going to be getting the guard upgrade for the dragoons, the Royal Guard one, by any chance? We'll see. See if that ends up happening. Oh no, the organ gun's in the wrong place at the wrong time. They're going to get sniped by those rockets. Yeah, rockets are a really obnoxious artillery piece that can actually snipe enemy artillery really well because of its overwhelming crush damaging splash. Seems like these pikes are acting as a good buffer there, taking up all the damage and distracting these heavy cans a bit. The heavy cans are really the last sort of defense you have against these rockets, and it looks like heavy cans will be eliminated before the rockets do. Yep, one more rocket shot takes that one out. As long as you have one rocket, I think Chef Sadiste really can't do anything here. Especially with all those skirmish units on the front lines, that being the longbows as well as the rangers in tandem. Pikemen are also going to be sent in since they're already at the guard level, and they will provide a good siege against town centers, right? A whopping 48 siege apiece for a unit that is only 40 wood, 40 food. Quite cheap, actually. Impossible to counter? Yeah, I mean, Chef Sadiste made a great point, you know. While Portuguese is really obnoxious, right? And I complain about the Portuguese in Wars of Liberty all the time. You can technically kill them with certain strategies. There has been times when I've been the Portuguese in ranked 1v1 using the Chinese before. It's not easy. The Portuguese units really outclass the Chinese a lot, but if you spam really well in Age 3 and get the hand mortars going against those town centers, you can put them in a bit of a frisky situation, as I'll call it. You know, they'll be fighting for their very lives. And it's really good when you can pull it off, too, because taking out a Portuguese turtle takes a lot of will and a lot of patience and skill. So if you can pull it off, hats off to you for doing that. It's really not an easy feat to do by any means. Definitely not. What did people think of that game so far? Oh, Revnek is here. Good day, Strutzy. Oh, Omar. Oh, from Risk. Risk Ships. Cameraman. Oh, nice. Yeah. Gotta play some Risk with Omar again. Love that scenario. Yeah, it's the best scenario they got in Legacy is Risk Ships. That big European map with all those little trade sockets, and you just build huge giant armies to go up against each other with. And the only thing you can destroy that big army easily, of course, is if they load into those little boats and you snipe them with your culverins. Yeah, so just don't make giant armies and let the culverins snipe them when they're crossing the English Channel, please. It's not a good idea. Never a good idea, pretty much. Yeah, so now I'm going to be doing 1v1 ranked Supremacy India versus the Hods. That one looks pretty good. This one right here. I like both of these civs quite a bit, and they're pretty high powered in the ranked world, I believe, right? The Hods being one of the best rush shivs, or one of the easiest rush shivs you can really do. The Indians just being an overall well-rounded civ that can do a lot of things. And it's handled by our very own Aaliyah here, our very own HVNI. the demigod of AoE 3DE other than Revnak. So I know Leah knows his Indians pretty well, so this should be a pretty easy sweep against the Hods, I think. The thing that really makes the Hods scary is the first few minutes of the game when they get that initial rush snowball going, right? Getting that war hut on the front lines, slinging out their Kanya horsemen, matched with tomahawks, Ayana bowmen, and the Viking. They can be pretty formidable. But if you can survive that initial push, and Hods fail to go for a proper Age 3 counter with their forest prowlers and musket riders, it can be pretty easy to wipe them out. But we'll see though. We're playing on the river map here, and you got these river crossings noted by the areas with the little grass and the rocks and this more shallow water. These are the areas your units can actually cross on. Whereas this deeper water, you can't actually cross here without some boat being there to bring you across. This leads to a lot of strategic choke points at all three of these sites that you can basically wall up and make it really hard to cross into your enemy's base from, pretty much. You also got some really good European natives on this map. You got the House of Oldenburg. You also have the House of Wedded on it, so some really powerful native options as well. Overall, though, I really like this map in ranked because I feel like it gives me enough space to plan out my strategy, because you do have some areas that you can choke point, and, you know, I just have a pretty good favorability of this map, I find, especially when I'm fighting more defensive cities like the multis usually. Let's get started and see how this match turns out. Should be a pretty good matchup, honestly. I mean, India again, really a versatile civ, you know. I think the Indians' best strategy here is probably the good old semi-FF, right? Keep that good tempo going at the start by constantly popping set poise out of that aggro fort. And depending on how the wind blows, you can either go for that H3 and bring in some Mahouts, bring in some Siege Elephants, bring in some Howdahs, or you can fight it out in H2 and go Sepoy Gurkha. And if they make a lot of skirms themselves in artillery, just make the Sawars, right? Or just add in the Delhi cavalry from the Ottoman consulate. That's another option. And a pretty popular one too, you know. With the Indians, it's pretty common that you start out with Ottomans for their units, mainly the Azaps and the Delhis, and then you move over to the British for that mid-game hit point boost for your elephants. Since that's their bonuses, it gives all your land military more hit points, making them pretty powerful. The more hit points they naturally got, which elephants have a lot of, you know. Elephants have some very thick hide on their elephant skin, so you don't want to mess with an elephant. Shalom there, Mr. Shalom Elephant. And who's the other one? Adi Shankara. Oh, nice. So we got two powerful Indian monks over here, looking like Nanib. Yeah, that's the cool thing about Asian explorers, is they can stun enemies like this in place so you can slowly whittle them down and defeat them. It's basically the Indian explorer's replacement to the Treasure Guardian snipe ability that they use. I think it's called Crack Shot or something shot like that. And sometimes the stun is actually better than the European ability, because you have two monks as the Indians and the Japanese. You could basically stun two Treasure Guardians with it and get double the value usually, right? Especially since both Indians and Japanese get some really powerful bonuses on their hero units, right? Japanese obviously have the chance of critically striking their units down instantly. The Indians have that nice elephant stomp stun ability, which stuns the unit in place even longer than you get with the stun ability on the elephant. So quite a lot of stunning and dizzying when you're playing as the Indians. Yeah, but what deck are they going to go with here? We'll see. So it's looking like a 1v1 HOA, the Indian variant of it. This is also a name of a deck I've seen Aaliyah use for the Germans. I can't find any problems with this. This looks like a deck I would probably use, you know, with a couple of minor tweaks, right? I mean, biggest parts obviously are having the choice between the Diplomatic Intrigue, the 4 Sawars, Sepoys, and the Tiger Claws in H2. H3, you follow up that with Mahouts, Siege Elephants, 9 Zams, and 8 Gurkhas. Leah chooses to have 9 sepoys, which is certainly a pretty solid shipment. Also, the Arumi can make a big difference usually. And then in Age 4, you get some really powerful infinite shipments. You get the Arumi, which can be great against heavy infantry and light cav. Rockets are going to be good against anything, really. These are the same rockets we saw in the last game as the British, only it's in the hands of the Indians this time. And they do actually shadow tech as well, so they get stronger from Age 4 to 5, so keep that in mind. And you got 3 siege allies as well for late game siege. Definitely looking forward to this game. Going for the greedy Karnamata age up. This means that Aaliyah is sacrificing some of that defense and forward-based map control for more economy. All the villagers around the proximity of this Karnamata are going to generally gather a bit faster. And on the other side, let's look at the Hod's deck, but I sort of know what they're going to do. Oh, he just canceled out his Kanya Horseman, now he's shipping it all over again. That's silly. But yeah, this in general is what a Hod deck will look like. Very aggressive with crates, military units, and upgrades, right? In particular, in this case, has the Warhud Warrior attack, the Warrior hit points, which is basically all your Warhud units, and then your Republican Party tactics here. So basically improves all your infantry once again. So it's basically like a milder version of the Warhud Warrior combat down here, only doing 10% improvement. But I believe it also improves your mantlets, right? Because your mantlets are also infantry and possibly your rams. Are battering rams considered infantry for the Hods? If so, that would also affect them too. So yeah, basically it's a little bit less powerful, but also affects some of your Siege Workshop infantry as well. As well as any native warriors you might have, as well as outlaws that you might have from your native embassy, should you use that big button. Yep, gonna do initial raid with the Kanya Horsemen, even though the elephants snuffed them out with their big smelling trunks, warning the Indians to get inside their house over here. Gonna do a siege on the consulate. I don't really know about this. This is probably not a good use of your energy here. Mainly because you kind of... Oh, he's going after the war chief there. This is kind of psychological trick there by the Hods. You know, normally you actually want to snipe the war chief first when you're dealing with the Hods, because they get this really nasty ability called Town Destroyer with their Explorer pretty much, which we don't see here, but what it does is it essentially gives the war chief like 200 and something siege against buildings. So it's always in the player's best interest to try to wipe out that war chief first, just so he doesn't start unwielding like 200 siege on top of your houses. And let me say, it will destroy your houses very quickly, and it will also destroy your production buildings almost as quickly. So that's why basically Aaliyah elected to snipe the war chief first there. But still, calling out the emergency units was enough to force the Hods out. And now they're going to go for a they're going to go for a second attack here. The remaining Kanya Horsemen, combined with the Tomahawks, are going to try to take some casualties here, sniping off one of the 1 HP emergency units. Going to try to get rid of those first, and probably try to take out these monks as well. If they can hold back the Indian Age 3 as much as possible, that's probably going to help them out quite a bit here. Yeah, I think he's just stalling for time here, trying to hold the Indians back and trying to gain that foothold right now. Oh, Kanya Horseman finding a successful target there, gonna wipe out a villager because they were up here at the mine, and their pathing sword went into this curve shape there. Let's see if he can hold on to his Kanya Horseman though, because that's gonna be a really powerful tool that's gonna be hard to replace. You know, Tomahawks you can easily replace. The Kanya Horseman, it's kind of hard. Since not only they're more expensive, you actually have to invest in a corral, which is another 200 wood just to get more of these. So it behooves you to really keep the Kanya Horsemen around as much as possible, usually. Tomahawks appear to be going after the barracks there, also denying the construction of the market. This is a pretty good aggressive move by the Hods so far. They seem to be pinning him pretty well. Let's see if he notices this and... Nope. not really targeting that, unfortunately. It's going to let him build up another market. How much res does Aaliyah have? So, has enough res for military out of this Rax, but isn't going to train anything since that Rax isn't going to survive much longer, honestly. You know, it's going to be wiped out pretty quickly there. It's going to ship in the 5 set point card, though, and that should provide enough ample defense, I think, to maybe wipe out the siege here. Oh, taking out the barracks is pretty huge, though. Really is, because that means Aaliyah's going to have to do some more wood chopping to get some more defense here. And since you didn't go with the Agra Fort, that's one production building you could probably use in this situation for sure. At least he's going to clean out the town center, though, and maybe get some more villager seconds back from this. You know, every one of these big raids that the enemy can do on you starves you with something we call villager seconds, which basically is the seconds your villager is working on a resource, right? Villager seconds can be cut short by getting housed, right? Not having enough population to train additional villagers when you normally should, since villager queues should be constant most of the time. That means, like, being housed is not good. That also means getting raided is not good, because you're going to lose villager seconds from villagers that are killed, as well as villagers that are garrisoned inside the building, since they're not working, right? You want your villagers to be working 24 hours a day, you know, like a sweatshop. You don't want them to be lounging around inside the town center and watching TikTok videos. You want them to be hunting meat and chopping trees and collecting gold and silver and tin. You know, a busy villager is a good villager, and a villager that isn't busy is just a unit. Call it a unit. Yeah, unit really doesn't do anything. Yeah. It's okay for the military units not to gather anything, because at least they fight, but these villagers, unless you're punching a falcon head or something, aren't going to provide much military value otherwise. Yeah. And I guess another added negative too of having the vills cooped up is the lack of export trickle as well you get while you're gathering stuff too. Yeah, so that's always another negative you get as the Indians by having AFK villagers. So what are the Huns going to do now, though? Are they going to keep up the Tomahawk attack? Oh, they're going to double down with 2 war huts here. They're going to build war hut number 2, and they're going to switch over to the Anna Bowmen, or the Archers, the Anna Archers. So these Archers, they're kind of an interesting unit, actually, because they're one of the few units in AoE 3 that only cost 1 resource, 100 food, and they act as anti-heavy infantry. You know, basically a shorter range but quicker firing skirmisher, pretty much, you know, because for these Aenas, they can fire off arrows from their bows much more quickly than enemies can reload their rifles, making them pretty formidable for attacks. Still is going to train additional Tomahawks, because you never know. The fact that Aaliyah has a consulate now means he could actually send in some delis from the Ottoman consulate. Can also ship in 4 Sawars still from the home city as well. But since India is going for that Taj Mahal age up, looks like we might see 2 divergent paths here. We might see Aaliyah try to hold out in age 3. We could also see a potential FI as well. Does have the Ottoman consulate, since we do see the delis coming out. And we could likely see some AZAPs as well, potentially. Though it might be good to wait off on that, since these are mostly infantry. And the AZAPs are only good against Dragoons and Hussars, really, which we don't really see anything like that right now. The cool thing about the Taj Mahal is, it delivers you a lot of coin when you age up as it. So it's really good for getting a solid FF or FI out of it. Usually just an FI, right? With the FI, the amount of gold you get out of it is pretty good, so you can put that gold into the age up cost real easily. And it's not one we normally see here. You could also be going Taj Mahal just to use the special ability, which is Truce, pretty much. The peaceful little dove there that basically says, you know, stop fighting, you know, peace on earth. That's basically what the Taj Mahal does, for some reason. Didn't know it was a symbol of peace, but basically that's what it does in AoE 3, you know. It says, everybody live in peace, sign a ceasefire, And after so many seconds, then you can go back to war for whatever. And yep, see, ceasefire. Go back to your demilitarized zones. Go back on the other side of the DMZ and just run around, talking to each other. See that? They're conversing, they're socializing, they're being friends with each other, getting to know each other a little bit better, and then they have a disagreement and they're slashing you across the face with a tomahawk and shooting an arrow through your chest. So that's how friendly these units here can be with each other. They can be the best of friends, and then they literally are destroying each other a few seconds later. All over an agreement of what is the best Age of Empires game, right? Some say AOE 4, some say Age of Mythology Retold. It is Age of Mythology Retold. Oh wait, no, it's AOE 3D, right? Because otherwise, why would I be streaming it, right? Yeah, basically. Yeah. But then again, right, Retold hasn't released yet until another 2 or so hours, so maybe it is the best game, and we don't know it is yet, so we'll find out. We'll find out in 2 hours how good Retold is, right? I sort of have an idea of how good it is, because I was part of both the closed beta and the stress test, so I have my opinions on it. And I also have a bit of experience from it doing that Norse Retold mod for Extended Edition as well, and how it basically ramps up the Norse to be more like that game, basically. 2 town centers for the Indians. This will ensure that Rico goes up a little bit quicker now. The thing I like about the Indians is the villagers cost wood. So even if you don't have any hunts or mines near you, your ability to keep acquiring new villagers is quite elementary, actually. Just keep chopping the trees, which there usually is a lot more of than animals and stuff, right? Most of these maps are pretty good forests, so chop down those trees, destroy some ecosystems, and get lots of Indian villagers is the way to go, pretty much. Yeah. Best way to go.
Hello.
Alright, so it is going to be an FI. Yep, I just saw those resources dropped from the inventory. So what? The Shamanar Gate. At this stage, doesn't it just give you a bunch of mahouts? I think, like maybe 2 or 3. A lot of elephants in the room. And it's a pretty small room, so how are they going to make room in that room with all the elephants in the room? Well, they're going to stomp on you, the Hods, and the elephants will keep staying in the very small room, because there'll not be much room yet except for them. Exactly. My question is, what do Hods do here? Probably all they can really do at this point is just go Musket Rider. You know, they really should be looking to ship these Musket Riders next, and be making those from the corral, which looks like they are doing it. They're not going to do it, they actually are doing it, so they know exactly what they're doing. They got a degree in Hodism, basically, knowing how to play the Hods really well. Yeah, look at all those elephants there. That's looking pretty dangerous, you know. The more mahouts you get, even against like the Musket Riders, can be fatal for them, you know. This is the thing that happened in that Liga tournament where I faced against King Taro. Mind you, King Taro is a very high-level Definitive Edition player. He's like, last I checked, his ELO was like 1.4k, maybe even 1.5k at this point. Pretty good. And what I did was, I literally overwhelmed his light cav just by spamming the mahouts, right? He was doing a bunch of Musket Riders, the Tomahawks and stuff. And turned out, as long as you have enough mahouts and you have some things like Gurkhas backing them up, you actually can overwhelm light cav like the Musket Riders with just these, and some sort of support like Gurks. It's very hard to do, but you can pull it off. Yeah, pretty much. Picking up the fur dressing as well. This will boost the gather rate at these tribal marketplaces a little bit quicker. Yeah. Why did they ever add the tribal marketplace functionality to this game? I guess the only thing it really does is has that big button tech there, but really nothing else. You know, it's basically wait a couple of extra seconds to do the same task every other Civ does instantly. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. But I guess it's good. It does give you a chance to add big buttons to it to make the Civs feel even more unique-ish between each other. So that's good. I'll take it. I'll accept it. Is that set of crates going to be used for industrialization of the Hods, or are they just going to be getting more military units to round themselves out here? Because it's going to get to a point where these big giant elephants here are going to want to leave their big stinky poop on you, and you're going to have to say, no, I'm not going to allow you to stick your big stinky elephant poop on me, and I won't let you to stomp on me anymore. So yeah, the Hods are going to have to get a lot of musket riders to say no to that, and they're going to have to kite really well with them. You know, ideally using things like tomahawks and softer targets to sort of pepper them up and distract them as well. Adding in some forest prowlers as well. I guess you could add some of those in. You never know how many set poise India might be making. As well as potentially howdahs as well, which is the other dangerous elephant unit from the Caravanserai, which is the Indian stable. Just making the forest prowlers for now. Any more shipments? So has another shipment here. Also has some upgrades that haven't been done yet. I would say probably get this cavalry hit points at some point so the splash attacks of those mahouts don't sting as much if they catch up to you. Has a bit of a warning there though, so the Hods at least have a bit of a idea of what's going on over here. They know it's mostly just elephants with a couple of AZAPs left over, and they can try to prepare for that a little bit easier, honestly. They are upgraded to honored levels, so they got that nice guard upgrade. Almost 2,000 hit points, like right now they're at 1.7k HP. Pretty scary on that note. Is this consulate move? Oh, so Leah could potentially switch that over to, oh, so instead of getting more HP on the mahouts with the British, it's going to stick with the Ottomans just to get their great bombards. Oh, great bombards with mahouts. That is really frightening to think about, right? Yeah, that's not what I did when I went against King Taro. With King Taro, I basically went, I believe I went with the Redcoats and Roy Rogers Ranger skirmishers combined with the mahouts. He's going for the bombards with the mahouts. That's gonna be pretty good here. Let's see if these bombards can do a good number on these infantry. Because, oh, what might happen here is some mahouts go after the musket riders now because they're so bent on destroying these cannons. But no, he's actually going to use the mahouts to go after the infantry. Ooh, this is pretty interesting. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. This is going to be pretty good. Look at this. Look at these mahouts just obliterating these infantry and spraying them down so much. Infantry or no more. Now, the musket riders need to get very smart and moving very fast here and being very spontaneous, so they won't live much longer. Taking out 2 elephants. Another elephant will be going down pretty soon. But with the death of those 3 elephants, the other elephants do have a really good memory and will remember that, and they will seek utter revenge on these Hod musket riders now. With the help of some AZAP arrows there. Do the Hods really have anything else to defend with here? Yeah, they still have some res here. Oh, that was horrible, though. That might have just cost them there. That was pretty bad. Yeah, that was really bad. They should have just went this way. Is that going to be fatal for them, though? Let's see. It's going to get some more over here. See, I have ability to... Yep, go this way. Go this way. Segue in this direction. Segue in this direction. Going after the wrong target. Go after this one, please. Go after this one. Oh, the Mysorean rockets. Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. Because now you got something that has a really good siege and overall has a really good splash, you know. Rockets can be really scary for any unit, you know. Like, look at these stats. Look at these stats. They actually don't have any malice against Cav, so they're really dealing this full crush damage against him with the splash. Well played by Zabant. Indeed, that was really well played Industrial Age by Aliyah, using great bombards, Mysorean rockets, and the Mahouts with the Arnold upgrade in tandem as a solid defense to take out the Hods. So it isn't just me. India has a real way of dealing with Hod aggression, it looks like, even in mid-game. Yeah. I mean, look at the post-game here. Leah just doing really good economically here, just keeping up with everything. Even with that lack of villager seconds from that early pressure, still managed to get more res. In terms of military here, 43 units doing 166 kills, when you have 155 units only doing 45 kills. So, big army, really just killing the same amount of units as Aliyah was making in his army, just about, more or less, right? So, really impressive show of what Mahouts and those mid to late game Indian shipments can really do, like the rockets and the consulate bombards. Quite powerful. Not to be underestimated by any means necessary. You should fear those things with your very lives, if possible. Do you think we have enough elephants in the room for the houses? Yeah, that's a good question, actually. How much room does it actually take to get one of those big giant mahouts to fit inside one of those little Indian houses, basically? It's pretty hard, but if you can fit 10 of them inside of a transport ship in AoE 2, then it should be possible to do anything. Forgot the Age 2 melee combat card. Oh yeah, you really should have that. That's such a really important card because it affects everything. It affects the sepoys, affects the cavalry, affects the Rajputs, affects everything. Would have been even worse. Yes, indeed, it would have been very worse. Totally agree with that one, for sure. So, what's the next one we're doing here? Up, wrong area. Let's go over here. I think we're... let me see. We're going to be doing... let's do the Petard one. Let's do the Petard one. This would be really fun. Let's do the Petard one. Alright, let's do the Petard one, shall we? Let's pause. Let's pause and do the Petard one. Okay, so this is the Petard one. We're going to see Germany go up against the Portuguese. Dutch Lightning. Shouldn't you be playing the Dutch then? Why are you playing the Portuguese? You know, play the banking civ. Don't play the covered wagon civ. Play the bank civ and make some real Dutch Lightning. Some ultimate power. Yeah, so let's check the map out first before we see this gameplay. This is a pretty fun ranked map. The big thing you'll notice is it's basically like a big giant cross or T structure in the middle of the map formed by the rivers. And in these rivers you have two parts just like that game we just saw. You got the river crossings noted by all these lily pads and grass and stuff. And then you have the portions of the water with very little grass that you can cross. And the idea is you get these four quadrants of the map that, or wedges that you can basically capture, right? The more of these wedges you have, the better you're usually going to be. If you can have up to 3 wedges of this map captured through map control, you tend to be in really good shape, right? Taking over the trading posts as well as the native sites on it. So, whoever has the most wedges usually wins this, but not always, right? Sometimes a really direct attack can cause some serious damage as well. So it's really up to the skill of the players on how well they can succeed at, pretty much. But we'll see, though. We'll see. Let's see what this whole reference to the petards is all about, though. So, yeah. Aaliyah really likes petards, you know. I've seen his games for months and months and months, and he loves his petards. Just loves his petards. Really good with the petards. Exceptionally good with the petards, actually. And basically what he does with them is he uses them as a really good sniping tool for the factories, and sometimes the town centers as well, and other structures, you know. Petards are one of those units you don't always see, because they only influence buildings, and of course, once they blow up, they blow up. They don't survive the impact, you know. They literally give up their lives for their country, and they literally give up their lives as in actually blowing up through the air from all the exploding gunpowder around them. So yeah, very committed citizens, to say the least. Like, who would ever do that for their country? Let's take a power keg of gunpowder and take out an entire town center. Takes a lot of will to do that, you know, so more power to them, pretty much. Yep, and just like that first game we saw today, we're going to be dealing with really the same sort of deck as we saw with Sadiste. Only this time a bit of different variant in Age 2 I see here. We have the option of 6 musketeers here, so if U1s become a real problem for whatever reason, you could actually send out some muskets. Interesting, you know. Occasionally, Portuguese do get forced to stick around in Age 2 for a while, and the crate cards aren't enough to get them up, and they do need the muskets, so should be interesting to see if that becomes a concern. One thing I'll note about this deck is, other than the Fattorias and the factories, not as much economics other than the spice trade here, which is more of an early game economy card. A lot more aggro stuff, I would say. You got the advanced artillery here, which you don't always see. What it basically does is it unlocks the horse artillery and mortars in Age 3, and also ships you a mortar as well. That way you can start showing your opponents as early as Age 3 now, and you don't have to go industrial for that, you know. So if you're doing good with your Age 3 army and you want to get the siege done there, just send advanced artillery and you can get started super early. Head of the pack unless they send it. Yeah, pretty much. I believe Aaliyah's doing HOA 1v1, right? Yeah, HOA 1v1. This deck we've seen a million times by now basically is themed around getting up a lot of settler wagon shipments and really beefing them up in Age 4 with the guild arzons. 35% improved gather rate. That's pretty huge. Also concern the fact that settler wagons are really 2 villagers in 1 since they cost 2 pop. And therefore they're like 2 villages in 1. So if you send a card like Guild Arzons, it's really like improving their gather rate by like improving the village's gather rate by like 70% or something, right? Pretty huge. And also has the eco theory, so even more. Like combine this and this, you're almost looking at almost 100% gather rate improvement between the two. So that's pretty huge. The Quartermaster, 400 wood. Whenever you have access to that, just grab that, because 400 wood is one of the most flexible age ups you can ever work with. You can get military buildings, you can get houses, you can even get architects and TPs with it. It's really flexible for you. Or you could put in the crossbowmen and pikemen. It really depends. It really does. Going for the covered wagon and looking for a generally good place to plop it down on. We'll see where it goes here. Let's see. Let's see where it goes. It's going to go right here on the path. Interesting. So this is going to be very aggressive here because it's going to be right up in the face of Germany, pretty much. They're going to have to blitzkrieg for this thing, literally, just to get through it. We'll see if they do. Yeah, keep in mind, even economic shipments like 3 settler wagons does actually ship you some free U-ones as well. So, I mean, even if you wanted to totally go crates and villies with the German cards, you're still going to have a weapon to raid the enemy villages with, which makes Germany a naturally aggressive civ in terms of raiding potential, you know. You could either go full aggro, or you can just use the U-ones you pick up along the way to be as obnoxious as possible for the enemy villagers. I guess one thing you get with having a TC this close to their base, though, is seeing where the... Can they see, like, where these, I don't know, I don't think... Let me see. Let me look around. Oh, yeah, the town center can see him for sure. You can literally see it right here in this corner. Trying to take out these treasure guardians. Going after the sheepy, I see. If you didn't know, Leah loves his livestock. He loves animals. He loves to eat animals, too. He builds tons and tons of livestock pens and devotes the entire game to eating lots and lots of the animals. Basically, so... Leah is the definition of anti-vegan in this game. You know, just eats lots of animals. And that's understandable because the herbal gather rate is actually quite good in this game. So if you want to invest in them and do it right, you can get some really quick food out of it. Very quick food out of it. Portugal going for FF as expected. My question is what they'll do after that. Will they just go FI into H4? Or will they try to do some sort of Cazador Dragoon play in H3? They also have the Halberdier shipment as well. Halberdiers are severely underrated, you know. Halberdiers can really do just about anything you want. They can take out infantry, artillery, cavalry, as long as they get up close, and of course they also have a good siege. They're probably one of the most versatile units in the game when they have the most proper conditions, you know. Like halberdiers have just as much hand attack as like a hussar or a Cossack. I mean, they can literally take out artillery. They can take out skirms. It all depends on, you know, how quick on the feet the opponent is at avoiding them. You know, if they're just sitting there idling with a bunch of skirms, the halbs could actually beat them. And that's probably why he's going to start shipping those things in right now. You know. Also, the second TC is going in this section as well. Is Germany going to go up with age 3? Yes, it looks like he is. My question is do the halberdiers go right for the throat there and go for the siege? And potentially put Aaliyah into an uncomfortable situation. Yeah, that could be very uncomfortable indeed. Let's see what happens with these halbs. Shipment 2 should be right around the corner in age 3, so maybe some organs, maybe some Cazadors. We'll see how that one turns out. The one thing that's these halbs might not be good against is probably the war wagons, you know. German war wagons are one of the only light calves, except for ones that wield bows, in the game that actually have hack armor instead of pierce, so they have a bit of protection against halberdier threats, you know. On top of just having generally good range damage and HP stats for their 3-pup. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it turns out in the end. Yeah, pretty much. Gonna try to stop the... Yep, got him in the snare, slow him down a bit, taking out 2 of them. Yeah, that's when you don't want to be a Yuan, because Yuans sacrifice a lot of their hit points for more attack, right? Hussars normally have like 30 attack. These only have these have about 37 attack, but only 190 on the HP without upgrades. So very easy to take down with a group of halbs if they run right into them like that. Going for the organ guns next, whereas Germany's going to go for the skirms. Going skirm and culverin, very smart move by Aaliyah. He knows exactly what Portugal's going to do here through psychology alone. He knows, hey, this guy's going to go for the organ gun shipment because it's big, scary artillery unit that makes the enemy go boom, boom, scream and cry and run away. So, you know what you do? Just build some culverins and make them scream and cry and run away. That's a good idea. Yeah, this culverin will be a serious threat against these organs. But I'm wondering though, where's the foundry? So the foundry's in the back here. That's awesome, because if he had it like here in the front, potentially the halbs could wipe out the culverin. He still could wipe out the culverin with the halbs if Leia's not careful here, because these do have like 28 attack. But that's sort of why the skirms are here though, to sort of pepper them up and keep them from really going after the cove. But now the cove is active and it's going to start wiping things out. Yuan's being sacrificed to whittle down that organ, and just one more to go. Really good defensive preparation by Leia, coming in with a variety of threats. Skirms, war wagons, and Yuans, and a culverin. So this is a really good defense by Leia. Now gonna do petards as the secret counterattack weapon. Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, it really is. I mean, normally you might not think of going for a counterattack right away, but with petards you can actually do it. You know what I mean? As long as they don't have a big mass of like cazadors or something to shoot them before they get placed onto the TC. But the fact that you just beat their army means they probably don't have enough res to replace it as quickly, which means petard production is a great way to start really pushing back on these town centers. Question is where that fort is going to go though from Portuguese. Is it going to go on inside the wedge, or is it, yeah, it's going to stay inside of the wedge there and stay off to the side over here. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Where are the petards? Is there any petards already here, or are they just still queuing up? Yeah, so there's 3 here, 5 are gonna come, and 5 more are gonna come, and where's the other where are all these petards coming from? Wow. This is gonna be pretty... Oh, go look at this excellent raid here, though. You don't even need the petards. Yuan's alone are doing serious damage here. Yeah. Ooh, just missed that one. But the petards have an easy road in here because Portugal unfortunately did all their fortifying here without really doing anything down here. Of course, though, dragoons, being a very fast, maneuverable like Cav, are going to be able to ride down to the defense very quickly. But what he didn't expect was petards were going to be used, and these are not artillery, so dragoons do not have multipliers against these things. Yeah, that town center is pretty cooked right now. It's cooked more than a German bratwurst and a soft baked pretzel at this point. So really cooked. Very cooked. Look at that lonely culverin though, doing absolutely nothing. So sad. Helped you against the organ guns, but now its life's purpose is basically over now without any more artillery. Taking out a town center. And yep, now it's going to make a move on these town centers, right? Right over here. Because the dragoons are all busy dealing with this mess down here. He's going to yeah, he's going to go. He knows, he sees them. They're going here, they're going here. They went around the long loop-de-loop around there. Cazadors are going to try to take some of them out. Ooh, no. They all made it, and the Cazadors just barely missed it. They could have butted one of them in the head, but they missed it. They missed the chance of taking one of them out, and they lost the whole town center. Now they're going to lose the other town center. This is whack. This is horrible. Look at these town centers just get destroyed. 100 HP. Literally take it down with just skirmishers. One skirmisher alone is enough to take. Yep, you ones did it. Now they just have to take down that fort. Take down the fort and you're all set. You're all set when that fort goes down. They're just gonna clean up some of those military units so the P-tards get an easy walk right to the fort. And that should be victory. Wow. Impressive, impressive. Good work.
Auftrag? Ja. Bereit. Bravo. Auftrag. Auftrag. Bereit.
Yeah, like Portugal is just completely dissolved. Portugal is completely dissolved. There's nothing they can do. This is just really tragic for Portugal. Yeah, I mean, they can't do anything against this. This is... They have no res. They got nothing. They can just ship in the Dragoons and hope for the best. Right? Maybe get the Dragoon combat. Potentially. Yeah. Yeah, Constable's not going to help out very much. It just improves all the melee units. Yeah. Don't have enough aids to get the Horde of V's, so yeah, you're sitting duck right now. Yep, they're going to go right for the fort. Right for the fort. 900 HP. Oh, the other ones are going to finish it off, though. I don't think these halbs are going to make it in time to snare them in. Yep, they're going to go right in for the kill. Boom, boom, boom. Ah. Wow. Wow, that was really impressive. Yeah. Very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, no town center, though. I'm sure the P-tards are wiped. Yeah, they're already going after that. You're never safe when there's P-tards around. The game just turns really petarded then, right? Like actually mentally petarded. As in really petarded. Yeah. 100%. Truly does once they get called onto the field. Yeah, it's totally petarded for sure. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, people need to make these units more because they just act as a really good earlier game siege option than you normally get in late game with the mortars, right? Ow, I really hate that petard build. Ow, I really hate that petard build. Stop blowing me up. It hurts. Yeah, it does hurt. Really exploding in the air. It really does hurt. And of course, HOA 1v1 Germany always does really well in res. Always being the opponent. Even good old 3 town center Portuguese couldn't stand up to their epic economic boom. It's hard to imagine just 5 raises here were just so critical, right? Normally when you see like a 1v1 that's like 20 raised buildings or something, no. Lily destroyed 1 town center, 1 town center, 2 town center, 3 town center, 4, and a fort. 4 and a fort, yeah. That is just really unbelievable. Unreal. All the while just doing good combat overall. You know? Good kill rate. 126 military with 121 killed. Quite good. Yeah, quite good. Good match overall, I would say. You know? We love P-tards here. If you want to use P-tards, do it with passion. Would have been. They aren't bringing barrels of beer. That's absolutely right. Idols a lot. Yeah, idols. One of the worst things that can happen. You know, Idols, that's another way you can lose villager seconds, is idle units as well. You know, losing villagers, garrisoning them for too long, idling them, and stuff like that. Those are some ways to lose villager seconds and therefore lose the game, because the person with the most villager seconds often has a more good favorability usually, right? Yeah. Obnoxious town center placement. Oh yeah, I mean, that's what P-tards are all about. Dealing with those obnoxious town center placement situations. That's what they get paid to deal with, right? 100%. 100%. Alright, so we're going to do the last one over here, and then we got some more to download as well. So it's going to be Germany versus Russia 1v1. Something, yeah. Alia's HOA 1v1 Germany versus Aladiv's Russia. This could be pretty... and we're on the City Tower map once again. Yeah, we missed you. We missed you for a number of minutes. Good to see you again, old chap. Yeah, this could be pretty scary, though. I've seen a Russia completely dismantle Alia before, so... it's one of the few things Alia has nightmares about at night, is dealing with the Russia when he's playing HOA Germany, you know. He gets these nightmares, these night terrors in the night that he will be playing HOA Germany and the Russia will rush him to death. And he'll lose those very sacred ELO points to it. It really is scary to get night terrors over it, though. It really is, you know. Especially when you're scared of good old me, Unstoppable Steletsy, coming to take away your ELO points. Definitely something every person should fear, for sure. But anyways, we don't really need to review the map too much if you've already been here for a while. But overall, I would say, big idea. You get this big mound pass, and this thing is very defendable, right? Not only can you wall it, you got the city towers to help defend it if you can capture them, right? And your very own starting area is pretty fruitful as well, because you get a little trade route with 2 trading posts, as well as these natives off to the left and right side of the map as well. So, yeah, definitely very good in that regard. So this should be a pretty interesting matchup, I would say. Taking the HOA 1v1 part aside, Russia has some really powerful weapons, I would say, you know. What makes Russia a real scary problem for any player is they can come right out of the gate attacking with skirms, right? Most other civs are stuck with archaic archers like crossbows or longbows, but not the Russians. The Russians bring good old Unstoppable Steletsy for 375 food and 100 or so wood, right? And you get about 10 of me. You know, you thought one of me was pretty bad, but imagine 10 Unstoppable Steletsys in a blockhouse block, raining down hellfire on your pikemen. That's something you don't want to deal with, you know. You really don't. Yeah, and keep in mind, too, German war wagons, again, have hack armor, not pierce, so a bunch of Unstoppable Steletsys hitting you with their little rifles is probably not what you want to deal with, honestly. Definitely not. Definitely don't want to be dealing with that. On the other hand, Germany has their own aggressive tools, right? They love to use their free yuans from their shipments. If they do have to fight it out in Age 2, they'll go crossbow pikemen with the occasional doppel. But they much prefer to do Age 3 fighting. That's when they can bring those powerful skirm and war wagon shipments into the fold, as well as some mercenaries as well. If we look at HOA 1v1, a big part of that is the potential to go into mercenary gameplay. Not only do you have Black Riders and Jaegers, but you also have improved mercenaries, which provides a combat bonus to your mercenary units as well, which is quite good. Yeah. So basically with HOA 1v1, you sort of have 2 power options that really get invested into, either Cav or mercenaries, or both, right? You get Cav combat, and then you get the Lipizzaner cavalry, which really beefs up the Uhlans. So yeah, quite a few good options, as we'd say, yeah. But still, you can defend it out in Age 2 with frontier defenses if needed. Send up additional outposts to make it that much harder for opponents to go for the landing blow to finish off your TC. But that wouldn't stop the Russians, right? Unstoppable Streletsy is unstoppable for a reason. Not stopping at any outpost, you know? Even if Unstoppable Streletsy falls short, Unstoppable Streletsy number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 might actually accomplish it for him in his honor. Going for a treasure over there, pretty much. My question is anyone going to go after these city towers? You know, these city towers can be an awfully good defense for your mounted pass map control plans and endeavors, pretty much. Yeah. Russia aging up with the logistician. Ooh, pretty interesting. So if I recall correctly, logistician for Russians gives them a blockhouse wagon, and it actually increases the amount of population that the blockhouses can actually hold, correct? Yeah, that's pretty good. You know, it's a lot less houses that you actually need, right? I mean, it probably wouldn't stop the Russians from building another blockhouse, potentially, but if they do go double blockhouse, that's pretty good. Because it means you get a lot of pop, and you can put more of your wood investment into the Unstoppable Streletzys themselves that you were looking to make. Germany, though, is going to go Quartermaster here. Get that 400 wood. Picking up placer mines on the Age of transition. It's a pretty normal thing to do, right? In most European build orders, going hunting dogs, placer mines right away when you're aging up is a pretty good idea. However, with Germany, what you do instead is you get the hunting dogs while you're in age 1, before you even click age up. That's because Suttler wagons, again, have the gather rate of 2 villagers, so picking up hunting dogs with them is just really phenomenal stuff to do, pretty much. Yeah, it really is. So, going greedy 3 Suttler wagons, typically what Aaliyah does, and then follows it up with another shipment of some kind. Yeah, but what's Russia going to do? That's what I'm wondering, because they just sent the logistician out. Oh, so they're going to be building these blockhouses defensively, is that right? Yeah. Very impressive, indeed. So what does this mean? They're going to go FF? Looks like it. Picking up the placer mines, getting the 700 coin, and they're going to get the 700 wood down. And what could that mean? Do they have Survive reforms? No. But they do have the Royal Decree. And what this Royal Decree does, Reform Azar, is it basically, they have a set of text there. Strelet, you are going to be disappeared. Oh, they were talking to me. I think I know that guy, too. Saw him in the home sea there. Yeah, but anyways, basically what this card does, it provides a set of text at your church that basically costs a lot of wood. And what it does is it basically upgrades all your units together. So both your infantry and your cavalry. There's one that gives you all your veteran upgrades and one that gives you all your guard upgrades. And that might be what the Russians are doing. Going for more of a flexitarian approach and just upgrading everything all together. So if they have to go Cossack, they can go Cossack. If they go Cav Archer, they can go Cav Archer. If they have to go Unstoppable Streletsy Recruit Poruchik, they can make one of those 3 things. And I believe it also affects Grenadiers, right? So if you like Pavlovsky Grenadiers, it helps those as well. Yeah. You don't see a lot of Grenadiers usually, right? Nah. They're a pretty good unit overall, I would say. Now they can do quite a bit of good damage, I would say, in a lot of situations. And they have good siege as well, since they're really throwing explosives. All these wonderful free Ulans with the German shipments. Basically helping out Aaliyah get those treasures. Has about 3 shipments so far, thus 6 free Ulans. gonna have even more yuans now with 5 yuans. You didn't have enough yuans, now you got even more yuans. Yeah, just as predicted, going for that royal decree, and it's probably going to use those royal decree texts right upon each reaching age 3 pretty much. What Egypt is he going for anyways? The bishop. Yep. Gives you a covered wagon, so a bit of booming potential there for Russia. This is a lot more defensive Russia play than we're used to, right? Definitely. Whereas Aliyah will be aging up with the bishop as well. A lot of people going to church to get free covered wagons as well as their communion wafers, so pretty good. Pretty good deal. Eat a communion wafer, get a covered wagon. Good stuff. What's this over here? Is this the Ulans? Oh, yep. So we're gonna see a bit of an acquisition of these city towers now. Yeah. Bit different from the last game we saw on this map. Basically, it started more towards the center, and then control of these towers went out towards the edges of the map, pretty much. Yeah, waiting for the explorer to get here to help out. Oh, they went after this treasure here. Very interesting. Yep, now they're going to go after the city tower. Now that the explorer is here to help. Get that tower. Perfect. Then they can work their way from left to right here and grab more of these towers pretty much. Gonna get a stable. Oh, so probably going more war wagons this game, I think. Probably. Whereas Russia is going to go with Oprishniks. Quite an interesting option. Oprishniks with counter dragoons from the Royal Decree. Ooh, that's pretty good. Pretty powerful. Yeah. The great thing about counter dragoons is basically not only do they do things that dragoons do, they also counter dragoons, as in counter and light cav, so they can be really good for taking out things like war wagons. Going to Prishnik counter dragoon, this could be pretty formidable here, you know. These counter dragoons could offer some really stiff multiplier resistance against these war wagons. And keep in mind, war wagons, they only have hack armor, right? So a bunch of counter dragoons shooting at them with 33 times, how much multipliers? Times so like almost like 40 something damage apiece against the war wagons. That's enough to run them down each time they come out. So that's pretty infamous. Unfortunately, I don't think you want the Aprishis in the front though. You want the counter dragoons to do their counter dragoony stuff here. And sort of let the Oprishniks hang out in the background and come out when they're ready. He's gonna lose them all, which is not what I would want to do. I want the Oprishniks to be burning houses, killing villas, that sort of thing. I really don't think you should have done that, because now you don't have a way of sieging anything. You just have a bunch of counter dragoons run around the map. Just not a lot, basically. You know, you need much more than light cap to do a siege. Going for cap combat with the war wagons. Yeah, you really need all the combat stats you can get against these counter dragoons, you know. The one thing that the war wagons do have to boot is high HP and attack. So, I mean, I think if you get some combat stats on them, they might be able to go more toe-to-toe with them, potentially. Oh, going for skirm shipment and Jaeger shipment as well. Really going hard with the skirmish infantry and their really strong anti-light cab multipliers. Yeah, Jaeger would completely shred through these counter dragoons, pretty much. Now adding in Unstoppable Stiletsy himself, me. Me. Unstoppable Stiletsy. Going Industrial Age, it looks like, for Russia. So you're going to grab the coin and not training anything. Going for that 2k food to get that Industrial Age. Question is, what does Russia do in Industrial Age? Do they go for, what do they go for? We'll see. Going for the logistician again. That would give you a fort wagon, correct? Yeah, that could be quite good, actually. Really good defense. I mean, it looks like Aaliyah's just going heavy map control here. Again, the town center right on the mountain pass. Right between two city towers which one he already owns. This is all going to come down to how well the Russians turtle and get up a really formidable army. Also constructing a additional blockhouse here too to help aid in the defense construction. Yep, and is Germany gonna also go industrial? Yeah, totally can see that coming. Going with the Viceroy, gonna grant more more of the settler wagons. Yeah, Germany gets a lot of wagons. They get war wagons, settler wagons. They can even get covered wagons through the Egypts and the shipments. Germany loves wagons. You know, they love those big giant boxy things with wheels on them that you can pull around. Yeah, who doesn't love a good wagon? You know, those little infamous red wagons that the kids use to pull themselves around in. Yeah, everybody loves wagons. Just so useful for moving big cargo around. Imperial Germany versus Industrial Russia. Russia rushing in Age 4. Ooh, that's an interesting tidbit to know. So Russia's going to do some Age 4 stuff. Question is, what are they going to make? Oh, they got the counter Jaegers as well. Ooh, very interesting. So they got counter Jaeger and they got counter Jaeger and they got the counter dragoons. Pretty scary, actually. Pretty scary. You know, basically what these counter Jaegers are is they're basically skirms that also have multipliers against other skirmishers. See that 2.50 here in the thing? That's against light infantry. And for those that don't know, light infantry in Definitive Edition basically means skirmisher units. Yeah. I know in the Legacy game they called Coyote Runners light infantry, but they changed those instead to something called hand shock infantry and range shock infantry, pretty much. Because that's sort of what they are, you know. That's what it's called in Wars of Liberty, is a shock unit. So you can either be a mounted shock unit or a dismounted shock unit, but it's sort of the same thing, like a fast-moving unit that's good at taking down skirms and stuff, making it much more organized. good to see the D did something similar to that, calling the Coyotes shock units and the skirmishers light infantry, basically a lighter version of muskets, not heavy enough to hold against Kev. Georgian Hussars delivers 17 Hussars, veteran guard. Ooh, interesting. Yeah. In Legacy, they're called the Basker Ponies. Here they're called Georgian Hussars. Made in Georgia. Yep, just like Family Feud. Family Feud Hussars. It's like a Georgia peach. It's kind of messed up, actually. You got Georgia in the Caucasus region of, Europe and Asia, and then you got Georgia, the state in the United States, spelled the exact same way. Nobody thought, hey, maybe we should spell one a bit differently so people know what we're talking about, right? Even talking about a bunch of hillbillies living down in the Georgia swamps, eating peaches, and we're talking about a bunch of people living in the Caucasus Mountains outside Turkey and Armenia and Russia. Yeah. It's like that thing where they ran into with Turkey, where now they call it Turkey, basically, because why should they name a country after a bird that they eat at Thanksgiving time in the United States with gravy and stuffing and cranberry sauce? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? So yeah, maybe they should name Georgia to, Georgia with a J or something, or some weird way. Georgia or something, just like they did with Turkey. Georgia. Hey, it's Georgia. Yeah, let's go to Georgia. So we don't know, we're not talking about Georgia peaches, peach cobbler, basically. Yeah. Hopefully you've had a peach cobbler. It's pretty good, Peaches with, some sort of pastry usually, and whipped cream or vanilla cream or something, ice cream. It's quite good. Yeah, peaches are one of the more sweeter fruits, definitely. My question is, what does let's get back to this, actually, because, Leah's going to Imperial Age, and we really need to see how this is going to turn out. Question is, what is this Imperial Age politician going to bring? The General. And what does the General have other than auto insurance? 2 heavy cannons, right? Something like that. What does the General do? So the General... what did the General actually do here? I mean, the war wagons of guard, the Jaegers of this. Shipping in the 2 heavy cannons now. I don't know, it seems like Russia's getting a really good momentum here. I mean, got more of the counter Jaegers, right? Oh yeah, I mean, these counter Jaegers are going to be really good just shelling through these skirms. I mean, I think Russia has it again. Leah has been duped right just again by the Russians. Yeah, it's the only thing it can batter HOA 1v1 Germany with is the Russians. Who knew Unstoppable Streltsy was that unstoppable after all? Imperial Age war wagons? But you don't own any war wagons, so why does it matter? Oh yeah, look what Leah did. He shipped the heavy cannons up here, so now he's going to sneak up on them with like 4 pieces of artillery. That is kind of a scary thing to realize, The question is he... I want to see if he sees this coming. Like, does he know about this? Now we can see it in his peripheral view. Yep, he should see it right there. He should know about the... Hopefully he knows about it. Yeah, he would see the little cannon projectile stuff over there. Projectile stuff. I love that projectile stuff. Oh, using the Prishniks to quickly siege down the mill. It's going to be moving in this direction now. Probably wants to get out of there, I would think. Because he has, like, the army advantage. He also has heavy cannons as well, mind you. And then, does he have the... No, he does not have those Tsar cannons. But he can probably get something else, though. Right. An unstoppable Streltsy horde of... Oh, going after him with the Oprishniks. That's perfect. That's what these are made for. Yeah. The cool thing about Oppressionics is they have multipliers against artillery, so even without guard or imperial upgrades, they're still able to take out one of those cannons, which is pretty huge. Because now you're going to be able to take your heavy cannons and shoot his heavy cannons with them. Because all you have to do really is take out the heavy cannons of Germany, and you got a pretty good win condition here. Question is one of these heavy cannons get eliminated? Nope, just missed it. Shot the wrong one. But they're pretty bad, though. I mean, wouldn't take a whole lot to take those out, right? Nah, not too much. Getting factory number 2 now with Industrial Revolution. Oh no, that scary winged hussar shipment from Germany. Oh yeah, you gotta worry about that thing. It's gonna have to remaneuver a bunch of stuff to deal with that. Thankfully, you still got some counter dragoons though to help with that, but not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. Yeah, this Polish winged hussar thing might have just ruined it for him. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think it would take a long shot to say that Russia is defeated now, because they got like 2 factories, they got a bunch of like eco still on these mills, so it would really say a lot for them to just get creamed here, I think. Right. GG, never mind. He doesn't have enough food and doesn't even want to try at this point. Could have tried to get the Falcons or something, I don't know. I think he quit a little bit too soon. Yeah, because Germany didn't have like any res left. So I think that was a little premature, honestly. He should have just stuck it out and stuck to his guts. That's what I think. What do you think? You think he was right to resign, or what exactly? Yeah. Yeah. Let's look at the post game. Yeah, Leah's HOA 1v1 never disappoints in economy. How about military? Yeah, that heavy cannon thing at the end was pretty epic. It basically won him the game, you know? Yeah. But still, I think Russia could have maybe dealt with those cannons somehow and came back, you know? He had a lot of coin. Had 2 factories, so it wasn't like he was out of the fight at that point. So, I don't know. Maybe putting too much credit behind my name, Unstoppable Steletsy. Yeah. The Jaegers are no match versus counter Jaegers. If in doubt, age up. Would have preferred him to fight to the end. Yeah, exactly. I felt like Russia could have won that because you didn't have a lot of resources there, and he had a lot of resources. He had infrastructure, you know. He could have gone out some infantry or something, you know. There's options, you know. There's better options than resigning, especially if there's ELO points behind it, you know. You don't want to give up ELO for nothing, right? Just because somebody's like, oh my god, he's an Imperial Age, we're all going to die. It's like, no, he doesn't have any resources. You don't realize how expensive that Imperial Age actually is until you look at it. So, just think before you act is what it comes down to, you know. Don't just go into a panic mode and go like, we're gonna die, it's Imperial Age, he's gonna destroy us with 4 cannons. No, if it's a big army, yeah, worry about it, but that's nothing. It's nothing. Yeah, so now what we're gonna do is I got some death matches here from Aaliyah that we're gonna try. Got about 5 of them, in fact. So, just enough stuff to get us to our special hour, 8 o'clock, right? 8 o'clock Eastern Time is when Retold should be ready to play for all of us who bought the premium version. So, just another hour of casting before I'll send you off on your merry way to go do that. Because that's probably priority number 1 for a lot of y'all. Just like it is for me. Alright, so, download this, all 5 of these. 1v1 deathmatch insta-cav. Subtiente. 1J. German Great Plains. Oh, so that's the name of the player. Subtiente. So he's probably a Juanito Bonito or Juanita Muy Bonita, potentially, with that name. It sounds very Espanol. Yeah. So, now we're doing deathmatch. It's pretty fun. On the good old Great Plains, you know, the open Great Plains. Living on the prairies, you know. It's like living in... Oh yeah, that's... What was that show called again? Something on the Prairie. Yeah, I already forgot. Little House on the Prairie, that's it. Little Townhouse on the Prairie. Yeah, that's right. So, what is it going to be here? It's going to be Aaliyah's Deathmatch Germany versus the Germans. So, it's going to be like a German Civil War here. Very interesting. Pretzels versus bratwurst and German Black Forest cake versus beer, I guess. Something like that. So before we get started, we just have to look at Great Plains and figure out how that's going to affect our stuff. In general, Great Plains has some really good native options. You know, you got the Apache here, you got the Cheyenne here, you got, what else you got? Yep, you got Apaches and Cheyenne. Pretty solid natives, you know. The Cheyenne are just a really good Hussar-like cav that also doubles as anti-cavalry because of their anti-cav multipliers, whereas Apaches are pretty decent dragoons for natives. So, a lot of native potential for this match if players did want to take advantage of it. Also, you got this little trade route down here coming up like a little sideways smile, pretty much, that you can grab onto. But overall, the map is pretty wide open, you know. Get little ponds here and there in the native sites that you can collide with, but really nothing else. So, it's going to be a direct fight right to the throat, I think. Pretty much. The whole record name Insta-Cav should probably explain it all, really. So, Subtiente is going to start sending out villagers, sent his Minutemen out right away. This is what you do in Deathmatch. You start with 20k of each resource. First thing you do, construct a church, get mercantilism, and get those 5 free shipments out of it. And then just send these 6 Minutemen to the front lines and harass your opponent with them. And then start sending out lots and lots of shipments. Oh, wow. So what Aaliyah's going to do is he's going for the Cheyenne Instant Cavalry. Yeah, basically the Cheyenne have a native tech that improves the training rate of Cav. And then you combine that with riding school, as well as having the training rate already improved at your church since it's deathmatch, it's post-industrial age. And that means you get instant cav with Germany. And it's really godly OP. It's going to start out... Oh, Subtiente is going with the Cheyenne as well, so it's going to be a two-way Cheyenne fight here. Wow, look at all these war wagons coming out instantly. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. I mean, well, look at this. Yep, look, they just come out instantly. I don't even see their queues, they just come out instantly. A literal blitzkrieg. This is like blitzkrieg, 17th, 18th century blitzkrieg right here. All these war wagons just popping out of the stables instantly. Just flowing out like a raging river of bratwurst and beer, pretty much. Just make sure you don't drown in it, though. That's all I can say. So, yep, confronting the front of the line with the Cheyenne and their anti-cab multipliers. The thing is war wagons have some good hack armor, so the Cheyennes are a little bit less scary. It's still a pretty serious threat. Some nuance from the shipments as well. This war wagon spam is pretty formidable. Like, every time you move one or two, just look at the instant training of that native cav as well. Now the winged hussars are arriving. This is just unreal, really. Unreal. Unreal. Look at this. Instant training of the war wagons. That is Something you only see on a map that has the Cheyenne on it. Unreal, look at that. Look at that stuff. Ugh. Unbelievable, look at that instant train of the war wagons. Unbelievable. It really is. Ooh, hoo-hoo. Wow. Huh. That was a good game. That was a fierce game. 3 minutes and 27 seconds of instant spamming war wagons. That's one way to do it. One very powerful way of doing it. I mean, hey, it worked. Looks like Aaliyah's rush was just that much scarier. Like 79 kills plus 100 on Aaliyah's side. Wow. Quite impressive, actually. Really is. Yeah, very impressive indeed. Ooh, wow, that was pretty hard and strong there. It's a race to Cheyenne settlement. He needed Palatine shipments. Oh yeah, the card that increases the population space provided by each individual house. Oh yeah. That was a critical card, I think, in a lot of your 1v1s in Supremacy as well. You were, again, rushed by someone doing Portugal or some other civ, and you basically were able to get those mercenary shipments through just because you had the Palatine shipments research. Yeah. Palatine shipments is a card that normally you would think, well, whatever, man, I can just build enough houses, right? Now, not always. In like a deathmatch or Supremacy situation, where you need some very quick population to really pop out those units. Sometimes you need Palatine shipments to give yourself enough pop to just get that army mass up a lot quicker than your opponent. In the case of instant training stuff, Palatine shipments is the difference between life and death, because it basically gets you to that magical number of 200 pop for the war wagons that much quicker, really. So it's really important for that. Now we're going to see a deathmatch Ottoman versus Inca now. Inca really needs to improve a lot here. You know, we haven't really been seeing Inca do too well in deathmatch lately. So we'll see if Aaliyah can bring him back some honor and respect. And the opponent will be Mefritas as the Ottomans. I don't know. I mean, Ottomans have some really nasty units. I don't know if Incas is the call here, but we'll see. The map appears to be Malaysia. Normally, in like a normal Supremacy, these little ponds of water here can be pretty significant for fishy. But even in a deathmatch, you know, when you're thinking about post 20k resources, how you're going to get economy, the fishy can be a pretty good option still, because again, it's in your ballpark. It's really hard for an opponent to come up here with the dock and start competing for that. So the water is a pretty safe bet for you, even more so than the hunts around the land here in Malaysia. So yeah, definitely go for the water if possible. But anyways, let's get started. Yeah. Ottomans have some really powerful deathmatch options. They got Abyss Gunners, Safahi, they got Janissaries, they got some really heavy hitting units, you know. Whereas the Inca got the advantage of the good old big bun techs, right? So that means they can send out really 3 big groups of plumed spearmen right out of the gate with the big buns and go right after the opponent with those. Right into their face, pretty much. Here comes the Huanca support. Huanca send 1 war hut travel and 1 town center travel, allowing you to construct an additional TC. All buildings are built slightly faster. So this is going to be really good for, again, the forward base going and going right after the Ottomans. This big rush at the very start with the plumed spearmen is quite huge, because remember, plumed spearmen are a siege unit that has 52 siege. So they can already start harassing this base really well here, to the point that they could start downing a lot of those buildings before they really get up. Going for the delis out of the stable. I'm a little concerned for this fellow here. He really should be training stuff out of every building that pops up at this point, because he's really going to need to do that. Again, the Makrakvi school to improve the training rate of infantry. Let's see if it makes a difference here. Oh, yep, it does. Janissaries starting to pop out. Let's see if it's enough, though. I mean, you're going to need a good number of those Jans to get rid of those plume spears. Yeah, now 10 of the Jans. Going to need some more, I think, to really start fending them off. I don't think it's a real cohesive strategy by Ottomans, though. They're just really falling flat on their face here with everything. Trying to send out some of the Bashi Bazooks. The good thing about the Bashi Bazooks is they actually have some multipliers against heavy infantry. So they're a little bit more skirmisher-like in their functionality, you know. They can actually do fairly decently against... How? What? How? Big button, buddy. You know, your belly button? The Incas have a big button. They don't need a belly button. They got a big button. And it's both an innie and an outie. You know, it starts as an innie in their town center and goes outie into your base and takes out your town center. Yeah. Big button. Yeah, the Incas belly button, big button. Works every time. Well, it doesn't work every time, but it worked this time, though. Worked this time. Delhi. Yeah, why are you making handcap against Plume Spearmen? That's kind of a meme right there. Should just be doing infantry, yeah. It's not the end, though. I mean, remember, this is deathmatch. You can still train stuff with those 20k resources. It's just the fact that you're lacking a town center now that, you know, Incas can plop down a stronghold right into your base like that. So, potentially, depending on how quick they build, they could defend this, but it doesn't look like it, though, because these Uruks are being wiped out before they can even get the houses down, so this is really not looking good at all, if you're the Ottomans here. Really isn't. It's only a complete wash and wipeout here. Yeah, this is just a good sign to everyone when you're dealing with the Incas. Get ready for that rush of Plume Spearmen from the Big Bun. If you're not ready for it, you're gonna get toast. You know, Leah, when he was using the Chinese, he was basically able to deal with the Plume Spearmen threat by getting out a bunch of castles and then getting the flamethrowers. Flamethrowers were an excellent solution that roasted the Plume Spearmen and completely destroyed them. For other civs, you're going to have to get creative, right? You're going to have to get skirms, you're going to have to get helps, you're going to have to find something, you know. Halberdiers can be a pretty decent solution since, you know, they're also a very strong hand infantry that has arguably more damage than the Plume Spear does. The Plume Spear doesn't even have 20 damage. A help can get pretty high in damage, right? So you have to play it by ear with what civ you are, of how you're going to deal with those initial Plume Spears, pretty much. And at this point, now you got a variety of things. You got conchs from the home city, you got chimus, you got jungle bow, the huaracas, got the jungle bows. You got really everything under the sun. It's kind of impossible to make a counter offensive here. Yeah, one of these tower wagons even get up and going right up in the face of these spears. Wow, pretty scary indeed. Yeah. GG. Barely played. Like normally you say well played, that was barely played because it literally ended in like 5 minutes. Slightly over 5 minutes. Dex in the Discord server. Yeah, get schooled, man. Learn the way of Aaliyah. Learn the way, man. Can explain better there. Really don't understand how they can be made so fast. Nope, just follow the deck of Aaliyah. Leah's, you know, the messiah of the 5th edition. He just knows everything about everything. Build for pop and make armies so fast. You're making him blush, I think, at this point. He wishes he had those Giga Chat abilities to do that. Inca is fast as heck, and they have to be because their army is not that good. It's kind of squishy. You know, they either win really fast or they don't win at all. We can referenced 2 weeks ago when we saw China and Inca fight like 5 or 6 times, 7 times or something. You know, Inca's super fast and squishy. They either have to rush you out of the gate or they don't make it. You know, the big hunky European civ with cannons and stuff will usually beat them. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was 36 sieges with those plumed spearmen. That's really something. Truly is. Absolutely is. This is a big bun pike build. Yeah. I think that's what we saw 2 weeks ago with that player that faced you when you were the Chinese. You do the big button 3 times, and then you just rush for their town center, their infrastructure with it, and it's pretty daunting to deal with, to say the least. Nope, we're going to load. "1v1 deathmatch, USA versus Mexico." Fighting on opposite sides of the Rio Grande. What map are we on? Is this Andes, I believe? It looks like Andes. Looks Andy-ish. You know, because you got those guanacos on it, and you got llamas and stuff, right? It looks like the Andes. Something like the Andes, you know. Got those nice native sites of the Quichuas here. These natives are pretty fierce, you know, these Huamacas. Great siege, and they have a really good hand attack. And the Bullis warriors of theirs are basically skirmishers. You know, the Bullis warriors of the Inca Civ are anti-cav. The ones at the site here are skirmishers, so they have anti-heavy infantry and light cav multipliers instead. So a bit different. Overall, this map, it looks like on this side of the Andes is pretty wide open, but you got a lot of like little canyons over here you could hide behind and grab some of these natives on. Yeah, I think if you grab all these natives and you can keep them popping out, that could actually be a serious problem, but we'll see. We'll see if the Mexicans unite with their Juanito Hermanos over here and get them into the fight, pretty much. Their army of Varingos coming after you. That's definitely very frightening. Quite frightening. Yep, using the state capital to get all those wagons out to help with the infrastructure. Quite smart. At the same time, going to be picking up... What is he picking up? He's picking up the dance hall. What else is he going to get? He's going to get some of these other shipments, I can imagine, as well, right? Yeah. Yep, gotta grab some of those TPs in the native sites for sure. It's like the Minutemen here are harassing. They call them militiamen, but they're really Minutemen, you know. Don't let them fool you. They're Minutemen. Look at all these cowboys coming out of the saloon.
I'm ready.
What do you say, Pilgrim? Happy Thanksgiving, Pilgrims. Here comes John Wayne. The first Thanksgiving.
I'll get him.
Time to defend. Usually in this situation, Mexico is very aggro, usually, right? Yeah. Yeah, again, advanced saloons, so you can get some more saloons out and probably spam out a bunch of their outlaws, the Suatreros, as well as their banditos. The banditos are quite good here. You know, the banditos are skirms, so they'll do really well against these cowboys overall. The cool thing about the Suatreros is they have this really nice charged lasso attack that deals some splash damage. So they can be pretty good for wiping out groups of stuff, basically. Sending in some artillery through this tower here and going right for the siege. Also pushing right ahead with the Juanitos Banditos. Yeah, some Juanitos Banditos. chugging their things of dynamite am. Now these banditos are a pretty formidable unit. I mean, they get a pretty decent siege of like 46, which is pretty close to hand infantry. And they also double as a skirm, you know, good multipliers against heavy inf. They get that charged dynamite attack, deal some pretty good splash, good crush stats. I mean, the outlaws of Mexico are pretty much to be feared, pretty much. Here comes the Garachista shipping from Mexico. You don't know what that is. Basically, they get some sort of support cards here, like the Garachistas and the Renegade. Oh, well, this is different. This is Renegade Apache, but overall, the Mexicans get some cards like these Spanish sympathizers. They can also get cuirassiers, I believe, and they basically not only ships a number of them, it also allows you to train them at forts as well. So with Spain, if Mexico wanted to go play more like Spanish and just have regular lancers instead of the more hussar-like Chinaka riders, they could just go Spanish lancers out of their fort instead as an option. Yeah, Mexico can be pretty flexible, even without all those revolutions they have access to in supremacy play. That's what makes it a pretty formidable civ to deal with. Yeah, good defense though by the Americans there. I think this one is mine. Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it is yours indeed. The good defense there by the sharpshooters, pretty much. See, what makes the sharpshooters pretty good is on the United States side is they have about 23 range, so they can hit enemies pretty far back. And the other thing you deal with here between the United States and Mexico is the implanted flags here, the inspiring flags, which their generals can deploy. And basically what these flags do is they basically beef up the stats of your units pretty much. Yeah. As long as they're within a certain radius of those flags. What we got now, we basically got repositioning of the Mexicans, switching to regular military, doing their vigilantes and their chinacos. Yeah, pretty much. Basically, you're going to want to save those chinacos, called the Real Guard Charlos at this point, to go after the skirms and the artillery. United States using that rocket shipment they get from the home city, which is pretty formidable. 5 rockets, yeah, that's pretty serious. 5 captured rockets from the British, of course, and that'll deal a lot of splash damage. Enough to even destroy Chinaka riders, yeah. They are doing a pretty formidable poke through those infantry lines, though. We'll say that. I don't know, maybe the Chinaka riders will do this, I don't know. Seem to be doing alright, I mean, they're cutting enough through their lines. Nah, it doesn't look like it. Does he have a res for the more of these? Oh no, he's out of stuff now. He's out of comida. No tacos. No Frioles de arroz. It doesn't have any comida. So he needs some more of that if he's actually get some army. And now it's just going to have to play the long game and stall out for time. Trying to get a heavy can, which is not going to come now because now he's got rockets on top of it. The Falconet shipment. Thankfully it's an infinite shipment, so you could maybe peel away at the Youngian a little bit over here. Nope. Not even again one cannonball out, but that's about it. Leah's reaction time is too strong, so not enough to... Yeah. Going for another push with the Chalos here. Trying to make a push onto the infantry. Taking out some of the arts. Oh, not quite. Not enough, yeah. That big ball of artillery basically cost Tom Nunes the match. Good work by Aaliyah on that counterattack, though. That was pretty fierce at the beginning with all those banditos and suatros pushing in, but he was able to make up for it pretty quickly. Yeah, it looked like it. I don't know if he sent those Curacao shipments in, if got that Curacao shipment in, if Mexico would have had any advantage, but who knows? Who knows at this point? Res were about the same. It was like an all-out war there. Nobody was really going macro at all. And the killing was pretty much on pretty balance here, you know, pretty close. Well, it came down to a big squad of added artillery here to win it for the gringos, basically. Las gringos. The Pueblos Mexicanos, unfortunately, got defeated here. Yeah, pretty much. I think I'm going to put the light on in this room. It's getting pretty dark right now. It's about almost 8 o'clock here. Of course, at 8 o'clock, Age of Mythology Retold will come out, and then we're going to have fun doing that, right? Yeah. 1 second, though. Let me get that light on. It's getting too dark. Nice. Also, if you could be fine gentlemen, also make sure you play enough games this week if you haven't already in DE, so we can reach the little quota here to get our nice Ottoman hero here. Celebi. Evlia Celebi, the traveling gentleman who loves to explore countries and cultures. I need to make a series of Mexico versus USA. We'll send over a best out of 5. Some Mexico has better push with dynamite guys. Oh yeah, those banditos, those Juanitos banditos can be pretty fierce. So yeah, pretty formidable unit overall, I would say, 100%. Checking to see if there's any messages I have to keep in mind. No. Yep, just checking. So yeah, let's go on to the next death match. How many more do we got here? We got this one, and then we got this one to do, right? Yeah, so we'll do Sweden versus Hods or House, I believe. Alright. Oh, it's going to be Hods. Very interesting. So what's the map? So we're doing, I believe this is Mesopotamia, right? Or the Fertile Crescent. It's the cradle of civilization, as they tell you in your history class a million times, right? You got the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, and between those rivers you got Mesopotamia. which has a bunch of Sufi Moss natives here, as well as these trading posts on the other sides of the rivers. Pretty much all the fighting occurs in this little tight channel here, but you can potentially build on these other sides of the Tigris and Euphrates as well, potentially, and surprise your opponents, but it's, you gotta do it very carefully. Something we see a lot in, like, the team games, right? Like in the 2v2s and the 3v3s in Deathmatch, we see a lot of acquisition of these side fronts on the 2 river set, for sure. But anyways, let's get started and see how Sweden versus Hods goes, pretty much. Alright, so, Sweden. Sweden's got some pretty interesting tools in Deathmatch. They got the Torps. The thing I like about the Torps, honestly, is the fact that they're already going to be bringing you in some resources at the start of the game, right? Normally in the Deathmatch, you're working with just plain old 20k resources of each. And then you have to think, okay, what am I going to do for eco after that? Well, for the Swedes, it feels a little bit more comforting and soothing knowing that your Torps are already bringing you economy, right? Because remember, the Torps gather from mines, they gather from berry bushes, and they gather from trees. So, even without a lot of villagers, the Swedish economy does have a bit more padding than a lot of the other cids do. That being said, the Hods have a pretty infamous weapon themselves. They have the power of battlefield construction, yes. All their war hut units, so tomahawks, hyenas, and forest prowlers, can actually construct their own war huts, their own corrals, and their own siege workshops. So it means you don't even need to put vills on the front line, so they can already start to focus on eco in the back. Oh, Leah going for a Swiss pikeman shipment to try to harass the construction over here. It also unlocks Swiss pikemen at the tavern for the Swedes as well, so if they want to make more of them, they totally can. But one unit that Aaliyah really likes in Deathmatch is the Dalkarl pikeman. Because the Dalkarl pikeman is pretty formidable at sieging targets and swarming enemies. Building a big group of field cannons here to try to shoot down some of the infantry. But gonna have a bit of a problem with those Quizzlebash going to melee here. Yeah. I mean, they could look at their hand attack, like 30 hand attack. That's pretty scary. I mean, their bow and arrow attack versus artillery is like a joke, but when they go into melee though with their lances, that's when you have to worry. Going for the fertility dance is the Hods, probably sticking all the vills on the community plaza at this point to get that fertility dance up at this point. Now has to build stuff in the back of the base to try to mitigate for the loss of the frontal base. Wow, look at these Dalkarl pikemen really go here and really swarm out. Combined with the last few Swiss pikes over here. These Quizzlebash natives, though, are really fierce, taking out infantry with every hit. Since they do 30 times 2 with their anti-infantry multiplier, so pretty fierce. But then again, another shipment of tomahawks comes out. Or is that from the Big Bun? Yeah, remember, you're a Native American, so you got Big Bun techs as well that can provide you additional tomahawks and thus additional building constructing units here. About 2 war huts have already been constructed, which means that as more villages come onto this community plaza, that means more fertility for the natives, right? Can be even more fertile than they already are, making even more babies, right? More little native babies throwing tomahawks and shooting arrows. About 3 war huts at this point. Yeah, this is a really fierce onslaught by these pikes. Like, it's really hard to keep buildings alive long enough. The only thing it's even allowing any units to slip on through these buildings is the really high training rate caused by the fertility dance over there on the community plaza. One for that, you wouldn't be getting any of these units out. Make it a pretty fair defense at this point. Does he have any more units? Has crates, so if he runs out of res, he does have a bit of fallback on that. Oh, but now, wow, look at all these Falk from the Swedes. Oh no. Oh no, look at that. Look at all these cannons. This is a lot of cannons. This is way too many cannons. You know, he knows that you don't have enough light cannons or anything, so he's gonna exploit that and just blast through your front lines with all these Falcons. Now the light cannons appear, trying to creep up on the side and trying to force him back. I feel like if Hots can get a little breathing room, they can get some of these crate shipments in and maybe offer some sort of a counter-offensive. Maybe. We'll see, though. See if we can do it. The Annas are... These pikes can't be stopped at all. With their good rate of attack and their mass. They're even fighting their way through the cannons, you know? And of course they got culves in the back and heavy cans and all this stuff helping them. Kanya Horsemen going for an interception, taking out some artillery there. And they're gonna... Oh wow, so the artillery has been down except for these culves. So they might be able to indeed make a counter-offensive now. Yeah. Unfortunately though, you're dealing with the Swedes, so it's not like their res are going to go away anytime soon, because all these torps again are gathering off the berry bushes, gathering off of the mines, all these things pretty much. My question is in like a deathmatch deck for Swedes, do you often see like blueberries in Engelberg Ironworks at all? Like people actually thinking about using that as like a mid to long term eco solution for themselves instead of like worrying about bills, or is that something silly and you're more focused on military upgrades? Good question, actually. You know, because you'd think, oh yeah, torps can be a great resource, bring her on their own. Is it possible somebody just goes torps and I'll rush with the Swedes? Is that like a build, or is that too underwhelming? Good question, actually. I don't know that one. But anyways, Swedes did a phenomenal rush job here, honestly. Going for a total frontal push there. Quite phenomenal. Quite phenomenal. Yeah, quite phenomenal. Very phenomenal. Yeah, pretty much. I mean... Like, look at these kills, though, with the... Wait a second. The kills were about even. Kills were about even. Just... Wow, that was just really close. Really close. That was a really close match there. Actually, very close. Wasn't expecting that, but... You know, this is the thing, though. You're getting more resources with the torps, though, so you're... creeping up on your opponent just with having a bigger stockpile to keep the rush going. You know, Hods, they don't have factories, they don't have a lot of that late gamey eco stuff besides the farms and the estates, so it feels pretty slow for them once, you know, those initial resources dry. But for the Swedes, they're living on blueberries and blackberries and whatever those red berries are that appear in Age of Empires game. What are those berries? It wouldn't be Age of Empires without berries, right? Like, what are those berries? Are those, like, cranberries? Are those, strawberries? Are those, what kind of berries are those? Because whenever I look at those berries that I see on the Age of Empires bushes in AoE 2 and stuff, I'm always thinking to myself, those don't look safe. You know, I know from, like, learning, forest survival stuff growing up that, you're really not supposed to be in red berries like that you find in the woods, because they probably are poisonous. So what kind of berries are those? You know, because those actually look like the kind of berries that they put on the Christmas decorations around in my country. You know, basically places up north, you'll see these bushes along the sides of highways and roads and stuff. And from those bushes, they have all these little red berries on them, and often people grab them and stick them on their Christmas decorations, pretty much. So, those berries are actually poisonous, so you should never eat them. But they look a lot like the Age of Empires 2 berries, and the AoE 3 berries, for that matter. So I don't know, what are Age of Empires berries actually? Are they like strawberries with really basic circles? Are they cranberries? What kind of berries are they? And are they safe to eat? Oh, cranberries. Oh, yeah. But don't you usually get cranberries in the cranberry bogs? That's sort of like a New Englander thing. Is we have the big cranberry bogs down near the Cape Cod and stuff, down in Plymouth and Bourne and stuff, and you just go through those big giant marshes and you pick the blueberries out of the moist water, and you can cover it over the winter and stuff. Yeah. Yep, there's a lot of cranberries where I come from. More than you can ever eat, honestly. Lots of them. Whole lot of them, basically. And blackberries, too. You know, we got a lot of blackberries up in this region, too. Though I don't know if they're native to the area. I know the cranberries are pretty native to the area. And I think we had native strawberries up here, too. We definitely have wild blueberries up here, I know. In a lot of areas like Maine and New Hampshire and stuff, and Vermont, you can get the wild blueberries and pick them off of bushes near bodies of water, especially. You know, they actually taste pretty good. You know, they're a bit different than the ones you get in supermarkets. The ones you get in stores are pretty sweet, right? Pretty big and pretty sweet. These wild blueberries you get in my region are very small. They have some big seeds in them too, so if you can't deal with seeds and spitting out the seeds, you might not like them, but they're very tart and also sweet. It's like some of them are just sour, and some of them are a combination of slight sweetness with tartness, and I like tart sour foods myself, so I actually like them. I'll often grab a bunch of them if I see them. If you're allowed to grab them, of course. If it's not your berry bush, don't just grab somebody's berries, you know, unless it's out on a lake or something and nobody owns that, then go, yeah, grab the berries, eat them. You know, there's lots of berries, pretty much. Lots and lots of berries. Those berries you can eat, you know. Definitely, with 100 of those, you could create a villager of some kind. Yeah, so now we got another death match here of France versus Sweden. Yeah, so this should be a pretty interesting one. France certainly has some pretty cool tools in their tool belt, I think. They got the Cuirassier. They got, of course, all the mainstream European units, like the Skirms, the Dragoons, the Halbs. They got all that, the Muss. So they have a pretty good, reasonable roster, I think. And of course, the Coureur de Bois are quite good at gathering as well, and can even offer a bit of defense with their good range attack. So, quite a lot of stuff for the French. Overall, though, in terms of the map, we're looking at that Andes map again, and actually what we see right away is France getting on top of one of these Quichua native settlements here. This is because, just like we saw in the last game, these Quichua natives are really fierce, you know. These Bullis warriors, really good splash unit that acts as a skirm. And the Huamaka, just a really good flexible spearman that deals really good attack against cav and really quickly too. And in fact, if you look at like a French deck, you'll know that a French deck is really good against natives, right? Like, yeah, I mean, look at one of these sample decks here. You got the native combat, you get usually get like a team native combat somewhere, right? Well, we don't see it here, but they got it. It exists. And then you have wilderness warfare, so quite a few items for the natives, for sure. Yep, this one right here, Team French Auxiliaries Combat. Yeah, but anyways, let's get started and see which deck the French actually go with here. You'll probably see the deck right away once mercantilism is researched, once the church is completed at this point. So what cards are they going for? So they're going for Ryan School, the French Royal Fencing School, 10 Courrier de Bois. Pretty good start, I would say. And then they're probably going to get some like military combat, I can imagine. Yeah, something like that. Picking up the Quichua cards, which is pretty good. Whereas the Swedes going for Engineering School for faster training artillery. Getting 2 forts here. Now this Kalmar Castle is probably really good for just getting more XP right away to get more shipments out, because it basically really increases the build bounty you get from units. Going for a sneak attack here with the Dragoons though. That's pretty interesting. Going for some initial spies out of the church as well to harass, and since they're a pretty quick unit to get out of the gate. And also spies technically have multipliers against native warriors too. At least they do in Legacy and Wars of Liberty, so that's another consideration when you're seeing natives. Yep. Wait a second, did they get multipliers against the... Doesn't seem like they do anymore. If they do, it's very meager and small. Yeah, something's going on with that. Yeah, Wars of Liberty spies will completely shred through natives. Same thing in Legacy as well. You know, that's why people that make all these native warriors like the Mapuche Iron Clubs in Arena just make a couple of spies or ninjas and they'll melt the entire army of Mapuche, like 100-something units. Oh my god! What's going on? What's happening? Oh no, the Del Carl Pikemen have been called out. Oh no. I don't want that. Nobody likes the Del Carl Pikemen. Things literally do the same damage as like a regular halberdier. So, no, they don't, but they're just really spammable. That's the thing. It's like a big army of zombies wielding spears. Bunch of Swedish zombies with spears. A bunch of IKEA zombies that ate the bad Swedish meatballs at IKEA. They turned into these little zombies with big spears chasing after you. Come in endless waves, and there's nothing you can do to stop them. Going for Ancien Regime right now. Probably trying to get some of those House of Bourbon natives to help out. The Royal Musketeers could be a pretty good asset. Yep, going to be putting the native embassy somewhere around here as well. Oh, he's going to go sniping the native sites now. Oh no. That's just not good. To be fair though, these Huamakas can hold their own against these pikes fairly well. Quite a formidable unit. Definitely don't want to deal with them. It's the one unit that could stand up to these Dalkar pikes as these Huamakas. Absolutely brutal pike unit. Seems like Bo Claessens has a lot more defensive control here than most of the players we see in the deathmatch today. You know, at least he's holding on to his own side of the woods for this amount of time. Look at these big scary formations of pikemen just rolling through everywhere in big giant blocks. This is just really frightening to watch. Very frightening to watch. Nice wall idea by the French over here, because they know that these Dalkar pikemen could come at any time in these big huge cubes again and start sieging their way through stuff. So having a nice formation here with some towers and some walling right here particularly could be really helpful. Yeah, building a bit of a choke point and forcing the pikemen into a closer ball and start getting blasted by these cannons from the fortified outposts. can finally reclaim native site number 2 over here, which looks like they're doing. Walking right into these Falcons though, but has some culverins to counteract it though. Has to deploy them though, actually. Getting one. The thing is, these pikemen are just really good defenders of these cannons because they're just such a low-cost unit that counters cav. And acts as a nice cannon fire too for just about everything else. Under the sun, really. Got some of the Gustavian Guard halberdiers there as well. Well, let's see here. Let's see how this goes. Going Voltaguire and Culverin versus this. It's a good question. I mean, the problem with the pikemen is there's just so many of them that it actually kind of negates the good range anti-heavy infantry stats of the skirm quite a bit. So that can kind of be a problem for you, for sure. Yeah, pretty much. Oh wow, look at these skirms basically getting forced into a retreat because of all those artillery. You're going to need a group of culves to maybe take out some of these, potentially. Make it some of the Savalax Jaegers as well. Yeah, that's the thing. Leah has a good ability with some of the mercenaries, and Sweden is certainly no shortage of mercenaries between the Savalax Jaegers, the Black Riders, the Lanich, Swiss Pikes, Giant Grenadiers. Sweden is always guaranteed a large number of effective mercenaries, no matter what situation you're in. Lagging real hard. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready to lag? Are you ready to throw your micro in the lag? Well, Classens hope so. See, though. Again, some of the Grenadiers from the Royal Decree now, the Middle Guard. Then you get the French Guard, and then the Croissant Guard, and then the Frog Guard, and the Frog Leg Guard, and the Stinky Cheese Guard, and all the other French Guards. Throw grenades. Again, totally swarmed by these Guard Hussars, though, and then this big army of artillery coming in. Woo! Nice. Nice game overall. Nice one. That Bo Classens fight felt a little bit more balanced, I would say, and it definitely feels like he's a little bit more experienced, I would say, in deathmatch. I've seen him play quite a few games, both against and with Philia before, so I know Bo Classens definitely is a pretty formidable opponent to deal with in deathmatch. Got a lot of kills in, even more kills than Leah, 402 kills. Not bad at all. But I think in the end it came down to just the overwhelming pressure that the Swedish first pikemen and then these hussars ended up building here. And we saw even more of these pikemen were even going to come out. Only stopped once he went out of the wood, really. Yeah, so that was pretty fierce, I would say, for sure. Huh. Nice. A lot of good cast of games tonight, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, so who's looking forward to Age of Mythology Retold tonight? I know I certainly am. I definitely am. Who's gonna play it tonight, and who's gonna play it in the coming days? And who is the brokey who has to wait till September 4th to play it? Oh yeah, I see the hearts flying when I mention Age of Mythology Retold. People love that game, and I love that game too. Yeah. So, I might do for fun. Let's talk here for a couple of minutes, and I'll try to boot up the game while the stream is still going, just so I can prove it to you that I have the premium version, and make sure it's working. Obviously, the one weird thing you run into with these Steam games is they don't have any good code on their store website to confirm with you that you purchased the premium version, not just the regular one. I'm sticking to AOE 3. Well, you can do both AOE 3 and Age of Mythology. Do both of them. Just like Widgie does, just like Free Food Party does, and the Age of Community Clan does. I think it's pretty normal for Age of Empires 3 players to branch into Age of Mythology since they're the same engine and they play very similarly in terms of logic and stuff. So it's not like going to AOE 4 and it being some weird other game, AOM Retold is really AOE 3 without shipments, basically. Instead, big giant monsters and stuff. So it really depends on what you like, Would you rather have cards, or would you rather have big giant dragons and titans and stuff like that, basically, giants, I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see tonight how good Freyr is in a real match. All the myth units look really strong, between the Draugr archers, the Fafnir dragons, as well as those rock giants. Looking forward to using all three of those things in battles and stuff and seeing how strong they are. I think in general, I did play it before when it came out. What do you mean, did you play it I did play it back when it came out. Do you mean like Retold, or do you mean the extended edition? Or do you mean the Titans? Which era? The old era, the Zoomer era, or the Gen Alpha era? The Skibbity Toilet era of Retold? Which era of Age of Mythology have you played before? I've played all three, actually. I've done Age of Mythology Titans. I've done Age of Mythology Extended Edition. Oh, so the Titans? Oh, 2000. Oh, the original. Yeah, I think I've played that version too, because I think I played the Apple version of it before. Yeah, definitely. I did also get the tie-ins for the Atlanteans. Yeah. In 2004 or so. Oh, that's very good. Yeah. I didn't play Age of Mythology till, I think maybe 2014 or 2015. So, maybe a decade later I got into it. Good game, though. Good game. Very fortunate I got introduced to the Age of Empires series through AOE 2 first and then Age of Mythology. And in the end, basically, it was Age of Empires 3 that I ended up sticking with, because that's the one I seemed to have the most success with and got the most out of. And also because of Wars of Liberty. Wars of Liberty was a big driving factor in making me interested in Age of Empires 3 and its mechanics, because there was just so many civs to get interested in. Well, actually, I was into AOE 3 before Wars of Liberty, because I used to play the Asian Dynasties as well. So I like the Asian Dynasties and War Chief Civ so much, and then when I heard about Wars of Liberty coming back in, I think it was 2012, 2013, it made me continue my interest in the game, because I just wanted that to come out and I could try it. I've yet to play Wars of Liberty. It's definitely a game worth playing, because you think you know a lot of deathmatch. Yes, there is. Me and Kaiser did that last week, actually. It's a bit incomplete right now, because they have to make some of the post-industrial and post-imperial stuff in the tech tree y.xml, but You can certainly do European civs, and there's some other civs like Latin Americans and others that could work. I should, we should have the volunteers doing Wars of Liberty. We should definitely have them come up with proper deathmatch code to run when deathmatch comes on. Like, if you're a Latin American, you should have these immigrant wagons show up that you can choose up to 3 immigrants with and stuff, and have the text research. Will you do some? Yeah, definitely. I could totally do that, actually. I would prefer first, though, if the Wars of Liberty team paid some attention to the code for it and made it feel a little bit more normalish, I guess. Because, see, there's one big thing in Wars of Liberty Deathmatch that sets it apart from the 5th edition. You get sort of 2 choices. You can either use all 20k of your resources just in the post-Imperial Age, or you can choose to spend half of that to go to the Great War Age and make tanks and airplanes and stuff. So it really is a challenge to coming up with the proper strategy. Kaiser was able to beat me a lot of times because I would go for the Great War Age and he'd have 10k extra resources to pound me in Imperial Age. I thought maybe the tanks and soldiers would dominate, but they start very slow, so in some cases you might actually want to get those sort of after the fact, really, in that type of a situation. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much in that case. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check the library. What's going on here? It says for some reason coming September 4th. So let me see. Yeah, for some reason I don't see the availability to play it yet. Is anybody else able to play the Age of Mythology Retold yet? Because for me it's just showing in the library as a blank play button that says coming in September 4th. It's pretty weird. Yeah, that's strange. I did buy the premium pack, so it's not showing up on here. Let me check on the Twitch and see if anybody's streaming it. Twitch.tv should show something. I hope I don't have to purchase the advanced access again. That'd be kind of weird. Oh, so it looks like the Age of Mythology Retold is available. That's pretty strange. I can't get in for some reason. Pretty weird. Maybe you have to purchase the advanced access or something. Always great casts, yeah, definitely. I love casting Age of Empires 3D for sure. Has a lot of great games to offer between the European civs, the native civs, the Asian civs, the African ones. I think AoE 3 has such a great variety of gameplay compared to the rest of the franchise that it definitely sets it apart from the rest, especially when it comes to the home city decks and being able to make cards and stuff. Huh. Very weird. Can somebody let me know if they got their Age of Mythology Retold up and running yet? Because for some reason it's telling me that I have to wait till September 4th when I already bought the premium version. Kind of strange. Hopefully I don't have to buy anything else again. Do you have to get this? Age of Mythology Retold Premium Upgrade. If purchasing for yourself, you will not receive an extra copy of Age of Mythology Retold Legacy Deity Portrait Pack. So that's kind of strange, because let me look at what I got in my purchase history. Age of Mythology Retold Premium Edition. It says I purchased it on June 9th. Quite weird. So is it just taking a while in this country to get up and running? Restart Steam and check game integrity. Yeah, I'll do that right now. I'll have to boot out of this game though, unfortunately, so things might look a bit dark. Let me see. Check that right now. Oh, now it says Age of Mythology Retold is unpacking. That's strange. So something changed. Something definitely changed when I clicked that. Woo. So maybe we're good now. I was getting a little scared there because I thought maybe I was going to have to call up Steam support and say, hey, I bought the premium edition, man. What's going on? Alright, so hang tight. It looks like it is potentially uploading my stuff, which would be great. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, now I see it doing something. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah, I'll just hang tight here. I'd like to watch with you the infamous situation of opening this thing. Yeah. Yeah. So we're good. And that was a little bit of a scare for me, jump scare, because I was worried that I spent the extra $20 on a game that I didn't even get. That's good. That's good. Just wait for this thing to unpack. So it says right now it's about halfway. Yeah, it's moving pretty quickly. I'm pretty surprised because I'm still within the stream. Still within the stream, and it's downloading pretty quickly. It's already at 15 gigabytes from 0. Quite good. Here we go. Wait for this thing to unpack. Hey, you know what? Interesting, alright. Yeah, wait for that to... Very strange. Still says coming September 4th. Let me see. Try restarting the game. Alright, we're ready to go. Looks like it's ready to play. Awesome. Awesome. So, alright. Let's see if this works. See if this thing works. 100%. Welcome to Age of Mythology Retold.
Please take a moment to set your preferences.
Awesome, it works. Here we go.
Adjust these options again
Here we
in the
go.
settings
Wonderful.
menu.
Perfect.
Continue button. Press enter to enable narration. Checkbox off.
Font sizing, that's
2.
probably okay.
Checkbox narrator.
No.
Narrator. Checkbox off.
Toggle to enable all text-to-speech options. No thank you. I actually play these games without audio because my audio is tied to the monitor and I don't have a stereo system for it, so unless I'm willing to put the volume on my laptop that's connected to the monitor, I usually play without sound, so that's probably not what you want, actually. Yeah. Let me see all this. Presets, high, mythical, resolution. Usually it's better to start at this resolution I found during the beta. Sound is... let's max it out. It's probably good. Narrator, we don't want narrator. Deafen that. Yeah, I'll do that. Code of conduct. Accept. If this is your first time playing, you may wish to play the tutorial. Would you like to play the tutorial? No, thank you. Cool. So it absolutely works. Wonderful. So what's this? So this is the new campaign. So basically, what can you do here? What's this all about? Freya DLC. Cool. Oh, so you do have Freya. That's really nice. It's definitely very good. Totally good. Yeah. It's nice. Absolutely good. Skirmish, campaign, multiplayer, tech tree, learn, mods, original voices mod, Castle Blood. They already got mods for this. Wow, look at all these mods they already have. Newest mods. But only within this amount of time, and people already have mods for this. That's really insane. Bomberman updated. What's this? Updated the classic Flash game comes to AOM. This is a random map file, so you can choose the number of players. Oh wow, this is pretty nice. Very interesting. Battle Royale. It's always pretty neat. I just want to know what this Legend Deity Portraits is. How do you turn it on? Can you turn it on somewhere, or... yeah, what's that about? Alright. They actually changed some of the god portraits since the beta. Odin looks... oh yeah, they changed it all. Very interesting. Very interesting. Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, so there we go, folks. Age of Mythology Retold does work. Very wonderful. So, yeah, do you think people would want to see me either just do regular matches today, or do you want me to live stream this today? What should we do? What should we do? Should we live stream, or should we just, do the normal stuff? I don't know. I got a stream ready to go and program in a number of minutes if you want me to. But there's some stuff I need to finish eating before we do that, so maybe wait to do that first, okay? So yeah, I'll set up a time for us to stream tonight some Age of Mythology Retold. It's a separate stream, so you'll enjoy the Definitive Edition stream and then a Retold stream. So you get 2 streams from Unstoppable Steletsy tonight, which is totally awesome. Yeah, so see you over there, alright? Sign off now from the DE stream. Give me, I don't know, like 10-15 minutes or whatever, and I'll set up the stream for Age of Mythology Retold. Unless we, you know what? Let's stream it tomorrow. Let's stream it tomorrow. That way we can stream it if I have time tomorrow, let's stream it right at 5 tomorrow so we can have the whole night to stream it. That's the plan. I'll just play a bunch of games tonight and upload them on the channel today, which I rarely ever do after a live stream, but we can do a full stream of Age of Mythology Retold tomorrow. Alright? So I can finish eating and whatever, since I had to still have half my food here. Alright, so see you tomorrow. Sign off now. GG, Definitive Edition players and Age of Mythology players.